are in our thoughts and prayers at this moment.
That's Lindsay Hoyle, the UK Parliament leader.
Buckingham Palace says doctors are, quote, concerned for Her Majesty's health, and they're keeping a close eye on Queen Elizabeth. The announcement comes a day after the Queen, who is 96, canceled a council meeting and was told to rest. The palace statement says she is comfortable at Balmoral Castle, where she has spent the summer.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Queen Elizabeth has been on the throne for 70 years, longer than any other British king or queen. Britain's new prime minister, who just took over after meeting with the Queen the other day, Liz Truss, is imposing a cap on energy prices for homes and businesses in Britain to deal with inflation the day after Russia's leader, Vladimir Putin,
called the idea of gas price caps, quote, stupid, and threatened to shut off the taps altogether if Europe decides on a strict limit above which they won't pay for their needed energy supplies.
Fox's Amy Kellogg. Now, the U.S. is going to help Ukraine fight off Russia's invasion even more with even more weapons and ammo and aid.
In a surprise visit to Kyiv today, Secretary Anthony Blinken unveiling the latest aid package. The $2 billion will go to long-term foreign military financing for Ukraine and 18 neighboring countries that include NATO members and other security partners.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A 19-year-old's behind bars in Memphis, Tennessee, accused of going on an hours-long shooting rampage, recording and posting some of it online. He killed 4 people, police say, and wounded 3 until he was stopped. The suspect, Ezekiel Kelly.
I'm angry for our citizens who had to shelter in place for their own safety until this suspect was caught.
Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They know how they died. It's 65 and sunny downtown, a clear radar. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The coroner's office is releasing the cause of death for a father and 3 children who were found in an Indianapolis pond. Kyle Mormon and his kids, all 5 or younger, were found in a pond in July after going missing. The Marion County coroner says that all died of accidental drowning. Mormon, though, was also drunk at the time that he died. As a parent, you like to know when your kid's going to be home from school. Harrison Silcox reports on why some students at an Indy Northside district were getting home late.
It's because the school district needs more bus drivers. About 18 more, said the district in a statement Wednesday. Staffing issues have caused buses to show up late for their routes, taking home students from Northview Middle School. The last 2 days, driver absences plus the already vacant positions have made the situation worse. Now more parents are picking up their kids, crowding the parking lot. The school says they're trying to address the issue and make drop-off more efficient. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man killed in a hit-and-run late Wednesday. Police arrived to find the man dead in the middle of the road near West Washington Street and New Haven Drive. The man had been riding a scooter. This is the 19th time that someone has been killed in a hit-and-run this year in Indianapolis. Birds migrate south for the winter every year, but they can't do that without the stars, since they usually travel at night. Well, light pollution has been keeping them from seeing the stars.
So when they fly over a big city like Indianapolis or Chicago, New York, they come across this big orb of light, which will dim out their other stars that act as their navigational beacons.
Environmental scientist Austin Broadwater, he tells Wish TV that he started an initiative to work with the city of Indianapolis and other cities around Indiana to encourage turning off lights at night to cut down on light pollution. Muncie schools are doubling pay for substitute teachers. If you have experience subbing, the district says they'll pay you $210 a day, twice what they usually pay. They say they're upping the ante because they are short on subs for teachers who are out sick or also at taking time off. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Kurt, looking at northbound 465 on the southeast side, still slow from 74 up to Brookville Road. Inbound 70 jams at Rural. And then on the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go after Harding over to 31. Traffic sponsored by Samsung Electronics. Let me tell you about Samsung Electronics. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. Galaxy Z Fold 4 is changing the way you get things done with an expansive foldable screen that lets you use up to 3 apps at once. Visit Samsung.com to order your Galaxy Z Fold 4. I'm Matt Bear with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
I had low back pain that was due to herniated discs.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, another satisfied patient who found regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I've had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Before Dr. Garzone found QC Kinetics, he was looking at all the old school pain treatments.
It was recommended that I have steroid injections done, but then unfortunately my insurance company said that I would have to do 3 months of physical therapy first, and I needed to get better quickly.
With QC Kinetics, the doctor got lasting relief with no downtime.
I didn't have to take any medications during my treatment. I avoided surgery, and I am now pain-free.
Don't live with chronic pain, and don't go under the knife. Call QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160. In Eagle Creek and Greenwood, 463-235-7160.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We are dry all day today and a high of 80 degrees. Sunny, and also it's going to be clear tonight and dry, a low of 60. A few more clouds tomorrow, but mostly sunny and a high of 83. Showers return to the fold for the weekend. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's Fall Flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, September 8th, and things that are trending this hour, the full moon. The next full moon will occur Saturday at 6 in the morning. However, the moon will appear like it's full tonight. Also trending, Peppa Pig. They have debuted a lesbian polar bear couple on the popular children's cartoon. And finally trending, the Queen. Buckingham Palace released a statement saying following further evaluation this morning, the Queen's doctors are concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended she remain under medical supervision. Right now, the Queen remains comfortable and is at Balmoral.
All right, so it looks like the YouTube chat stream is finally back up. Kylan's having an issue getting our faces on there right now, but it is up. You can listen to the show on YouTube, and hopefully you'll be able to see our faces again soon. It's a work in progress, Casey. We're almost all the way home of our Urban One transfer.
A little bit each day, huh? It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It's 8 minutes after 9, and it was against a blood-red background with two Marines standing beside the president as he delivered the speech for all time. He wanted to be crystal clear that everything is at risk in the country, and that's because of the Republican Party. And due to that speech, a new poll came out saying 56% view Joe Biden's speech as extreme and unacceptable.
This is really interesting that many people in the hyper-partisan political environment we live in today had that opinion on the Biden speech, which I think just shows how blatantly brazen it was in terms of trying to roast and humiliate and belittle 75 million people in this country. And so it is good to see that at least overwhelmingly the people who are paying attention, they've said, yeah, you are total ass to these people, and we reject, your partisanship.
A high form of gaslighting, pure and simple. So the poll asked people, what is your opinion of President Biden's recent primetime address to the nation in which he accused his political opponents of representing an extremism that threatens the very foundation of our republic? So when you ask it like that, when you say where he accused his political opponents, aren't you kind of setting up people to say, yeah, that was bad?
Well, and I think there's one thing to give that speech in a political environment. It's a campaign event. Joe Biden's here. He's roasting everyone. It still is ridiculous, the stuff he said, but at least it's in the backdrop of this is a campaign environment. This is designed to motivate my political supporters. but he did it under the guise of this is a nighttime address to the nation, reserved for times of national importance or national tragedy or need for national unity or whatever. He's got the Marines in the background. I mean, he's using everything, the office of the presidency, to completely just excoriate 75 million people.
Yeah, and according to this Trafalgar Group poll, 56 said the speech represents a danger, is rhetoric, and it's designed to incite conflict among Americans. And that's exactly what, Rob, you've been saying all along, that this is just to get people riled up.
Yeah, the Democrats want another January 6th. They believe that their chances this November largely hinge on being able to have a majority of the country look at whatever they perceive as all Trump supporters and go, well, sure, inflation's out of control and you can't afford anything and gas is super expensive and the border's totally out of control and we botched Afghanistan. And basically no part of American life is, not only is it not any better than it was 2 years ago, it isn't getting rapidly worse by the day, but wow, you really don't want those Trump supporters. And I have thought for a long time, they are attempting to goad people into another January 6th so they can have something to run against.
35% of people in this poll said that it was acceptable and that's okay to do that during an election year. 8% had no opinion. And again, these are the people who were living under a rock. Well, according to a report, the Department of Homeland Security lacked critical data to properly screen, vet, and inspect Afghan evacuees. And
Boy,
this
you
is
don't
after,
say.
Yeah, this is after the Taliban takeover in August of 21. So this was a 34-page report. And it concluded that the department granted parole or temporary legal permission for people to enter and stay in the U.S., and they weren't fully vetted.
Well, and what's really interesting is, so I think this was before you were here, Casey. We've been together so long now, I can't remember my days. But Hammer and Nigel reported, and I had heard the similar things, but Hammer and Nigel had reported with the Afghan refugees who were here, hey, there's some kind of shenanigans taking place where the refugees are being held. We don't exactly know who a lot of these people are. Some of the people aren't who they said they were. And one of the local TV stations try to do a hit job on Hammer and Nigel and claim that they were just full of crap. Well, now it appears they were spot on because now even the government is admitting, yeah, we kind of screwed up in terms of the vetting process because we were just letting floods of Afghan refugees come in. And, well, by screwed up the vetting process, there really wasn't much of one.
Well, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about that, and she was asked if Biden thinks that the MAGA Republicans are more of a threat to the country than some of these people who weren't vetted. And let's go to the tape for her answer.
But so in the last week or so, we've heard the president calling elected Republicans a threat to the country. Does he think MAGA Republicans are more of a threat to the country than people DHS says may pose a risk to national security and the safety of local communities?
Again, DHS has disputed this report. And it said it didn't take into account the key steps that we have taken as a U.S. government, the rigorous multi-layered screening and vetting process that we take as a government. That was not part of the report. Again, this report is not accurate. I know that our team has spoken to your team about this, and the DHS has provided a comment saying just that. So again, I refer it to DHS.
So she didn't answer the question at all.
What did you expect her to? Don't be silly.
It is amazing the disdain that the Biden administration and the Democrats have for law-abiding, tax-paying citizens.
So keep in mind, there's also been no congressional hearings on what transpired. No government official has resigned over it. Has anybody been fired over what happens? Nope. Let's just call it a success and move on.
Well, I love the idea that it's some egregious thing. And I remember when Hammer and Nigel said this at the time, and the local TV station that came after them, it's like, it's some egregious thing to say that when they were literally just throwing people onto airplanes and taking off thanks to Biden's botched withdrawal. Remember, the one guy was hanging onto the side of the airplane and fell off. That the assertion that, man, we really don't know everyone that came in here. And as such, some people were fibbing about who they were to get in here. And some of them weren't up to a lot of good deeds while they were here. Like, that's some wholly egregious, totally implausible statement. No, of course not. People wanted to get the hell out of that country because Joe Biden completely blew it. They knew that the Taliban was going to just wreak havoc, as they have, on the people who remain, certainly people who were in anywhere on the side of the U.S. government. I don't blame these people. I'd lie too. But the idea that when you don't know who it is, that is not some ridiculous thing. And when you don't know who people are, some of them might not behave in the best fashion. Also not a ridiculous statement.
So last Thursday, Biden gave his Soul of the Nation speech, right? And during the speech, he called out Donald Trump and supporters, saying MAGA Republicans don't respect the Constitution, extreme ideologies. He also went on to say they don't believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to acknowledge a free election. Just all the mean things, right? Well, let's ask the White House press secretary, was that a divisive thing to say?
When you go back to the speech, his speech last Thursday, people have talked about if it was divisive. It wasn't divisive.
No, we're all just going to have one big group hug now.
It's fine, Casey.
How is that not divisive?
Yeah, well, again, and this is where it comes back to, I know we got to get to a break, but when you and the left is able to make words be whatever they want them to be, nothing matters. Nothing has any meaning. We can make it mean whatever it needs to mean in the moment. And she just lied out of her ass and said, we're banking on the mainstream national media being a reliable arm of the Democrat Party and not holding me accountable.
Or asleep at the wheel. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Last year, IU finished dead last in the Big Ten East
and Indiana gets trounced
with 0 conference wins.
A disappointing performance by this Indiana football team.
And they won only 2 games.
So disappointing.
One against Western Kentucky and the other against Idaho. So, we're locking up this silverware because the Idaho Vandals are coming to town to avenge that loss tomorrow night. Pre-game at 7:30. Kickoff at 8 on your home for Hoosiers football. 93 WIBC.
The statistics are staggering. More than 107,000 people in the U.S. died from a drug overdose last year. That's a 15% increase from 2020. Fatal overdoses have more than doubled in just 5 years. Behind the numbers are friends and family left to mourn a lost life and wonder what they could have done to make a difference. If you know someone dealing with a drug addiction, we can help. Go to landmarkrecovery.com or call 866-LANDMARK today.
Hello, this is a message from the office of Congresswoman Victoria Spartz. Each year, members of Congress nominate students to attend the Military Academy, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, and Merchant Marine Academy. To be considered for a nomination, applicants must fulfill certain criteria and apply before October 14th. Please see more details and apply online at our website, sparts.house.gov. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 3.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 3.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending, join my blue.
NMLS 114937. 3.75% fixed, 4.88% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This Sunday, when the Colts play Houston, get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on that action. You could turn game day into payday all season long. If I had $150 in free bets, I'd be betting the Colts. I'd be doing all these same-game parlays. I'd probably make a big bet on Jonathan Taylor to win the rushing title. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything from touchdowns to total yards to catches, and you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIBC. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Indianapolis Colts. 21 plus at present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbooks.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
When you can't stop, there's Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your... so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Sundown Gardens has fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. Save the date for the fall open house, September 17th, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. He could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning and thanks for listening. And you can join us on YouTube. We're up there today. Just type in Kendall and Casey WIBC into the YouTube search bar. And coming up, you have a question for me and I have one for you.
Oh.
But first, let's get to this. Your government at work.
Yes.
This is so typical. The IRS says it accidentally exposed confidential taxpayer data. This is reminds me of the Ashley Madison leak from a few years ago. So the IRS has stated that they inadvertently posted the confidential information of 120,000 people to a public website before they discovered the error. Boy, they must need some new employees there at the IRS, like around 87,000 new ones.
I saw this story, and it's the most...
government thing
it's
ever?
The most government thing ever, and it's also the most unsurprising thing ever. And there's no recourse for anyone who, whether your information gets stolen or whatever, because you basically can't sue the government. I mean, you can, but it's very difficult. And it's like government, it's another example of the government not having to be accountable to anyone because you can't opt out of your government. You can't go to another government.
Right.
And so they just go, yeah, we did it. Yeah, we screwed up. Yeah, you're screwed. What you could do about it?
Yeah, well, they said that they did not release people's social security numbers, so that's the out.
Thanks.
You're safe. They didn't get your digits, but they've got everything else about you, like all your income information, your full name, your address, but not your social security number, so it's okay. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Today, you're wearing something brand new. I've never seen you wear this before, and I'm shocked by it.
Let's see if I can do this here for the YouTube.
Rob is wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirt.
Yeah.
Are you a big fan there?
Well, normally I wear a hoodie of some sort or a long sleeve shirt
down,
because it's 0 degrees in this studio. And I thought, you know what? Let me just shake it up a little bit today. I'm totally freezing. My hands are blue, but I'm going to give it a go. And so I just decided I've worn this shirt many times. Oftentimes it'll be under the long sleeve shirt that I'm wearing, but I'm just letting it go on its own for now.
I just want you to know that turtle, it's a bit distracting when I look at you.
Really?
Yeah. I just keep looking at the cartoon on your chest. Keep that in mind as you listen today.
Sure, absolutely. That's my goal, is to distract you, Casey, because that's good for broadcasting. So I made a life decision yesterday, and I want you to tell me if I made a great choice or a terrible choice.
Okay.
So normally, as you know, I don't eat breakfast food.
Right. You don't like eggs and bacon and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know. I don't like the taste of breakfast food. I don't know if it's the grease or whatever.
Yeah.
So normally I will eat 2 meals a day. I will eat when I get off of work, and then I will eat in the evening. And so as I'm driving home yesterday, I thought, what if I just ate one big meal? How different would I feel? And so I did something I've not done since before COVID. I went to a local buffet restaurant here in central Indiana. And I ate all sorts of stuff. Now, my theory on this was if I eat the one meal, and it's a little more expensive than what my lunch would be.
Oh, you'll be saving.
But it is cheaper than buying 2 meals. I saved money, and I did not have to eat for the rest of the day. And I have actually not eaten since I ate lunch yesterday at about 1 o'clock.
Is your blood sugar dropping? How are you feeling?
I felt like complete garbage, as you do once you leave a buffet. They're about 2 hours into it, and you take a 9-hour nap afterwards as well.
Yeah.
But I ate mostly better stuff. Kurt, it's a good move, wasn't it, Kurt, darling?
I don't know how you're surviving.
You've done this before, I guarantee.
No, I haven't, because I was a track athlete in college. I was eating 4 meals a day.
But I ate mostly
carbo load
at the buffet. Other than I had a dessert, I ate mostly all meat. So like meat, chicken, beef, and vegetables. So it wasn't like I was eating a bunch of pasta.
Yeah.
And so when I got on the scale this morning, I weighed less than I did the morning before.
Well, of course.
Because I guess eating late causes you, even if you're not eating as much, maybe potentially to gain weight.
I think are you trying to lose weight?
No, I just wanted to see what would happen if I did this. And so not only did I save money overall from buying 2 meals that came in a wrapper, I feel like because I did not eat late in the evening,
you combined your expenses into one slightly larger meal. It's very similar to intermittent fasting.
Oh.
And that can be healthy for you.
Okay.
But I think we need to wait it out 24 hours and see how you're doing by the end of the show.
Yeah, because it would be 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock would be 24 hours without any food.
Well, I do have an emergency cookie if you start getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm probably going to eat it because it's like sitting right here in front of me. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. But the point is, I feel like this was a good move, and I may do it more often.
Okay, I think you should stick with it, but let's wait it out and see how you do for the rest of the day. It is 9:27 with Kendall and Casey, and coming up, we're going to talk about portraits from 93 WIBC.
There aren't many faces people are excited to see first thing in the morning before they've even had their coffee. But the McDonald's drive-thru workers who take your order on the way to work have almost all of those faces.
Coffee is always a good idea, especially when it's packed with all the flavors of fall. Make your coffee run cozier with a pumpkin spice latte or pumpkin spice iced coffee from McDonald's. Limited time only at participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
There's a lot of people out there that could really use some extra cash, but for whatever reason, they don't want to refinance. But think about this. How much is your home worth today? Now, how much do you owe? The difference is your equity. Now, what could you do with that extra cash? Pay off those high interest rate credit cards? Make home improvement projects a reality? Our average client received over $54,000 with a simple cash out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
BSN Sports is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Nothing more important to BSN than focusing on serving schools' needs. That's why BSN Sports and its partners, Nike and Under Armour, gave away more than $1 million last year to Indiana partner schools. Their local sales pros remove the hassles related to purchasing uniforms, equipment, spirit wear, and anything else your program needs. BSN can also help your business upgrade their look. Follow BSN on Twitter at BSN_Sports_Indy. BSN Sports at the heart of the game.
Plan your fall stay in the Brown County woods with Hills Brown Vacation Rentals. The stunning fall colors, beautiful views, and crisp fall air. Do some shopping in Nashville. Enjoy a hike or drive on the Brown County back roads. Then cozy up in a cabin rental through Hills of Brown Vacation Rentals. Cabins of all sizes, seclusion in the woods, or stay in Nashville near all the quaint shops. Many cabins with hot tubs and game rooms. Cabins are booking quickly at browncountylogcabins.com. browncountylogcabins.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Growing concern. Sunny and 68 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Queen Elizabeth II is resting today on doctor's orders at her estate in Scotland. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Buckingham Palace says doctors are, quote, concerned for Her Majesty's health, and they're keeping a close eye on Queen Elizabeth. The announcement comes a day after the Queen, who is 96, canceled a council meeting and was told to rest. The palace statement says she is comfortable at Balmoral Castle, where she has spent the summer. Prince Charles and Camilla have traveled to Balmoral to be with his mother, and Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, is also headed there. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
A 19-year-old Memphis man is charged with first-degree murder after police say that he killed 4 people and injured 3 in a shooting rampage. Authorities say that Ezekiel Kelly was shooting people at random as he drove around Memphis Wednesday evening, live streaming the shooting spree on social media. It's not Kelly's first run-in with the law. Court documents show that in 2020 he was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, but later accepted a plea deal on the lesser charge of aggravated assault. And now your live money update here on 93 at WIBC. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 149 points to 31,498. The Nasdaq down 88 to 12,174, and the S&P 500 is down at 23 to 3,956. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
So are you ready to feel the excitement of opening night? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the start of a new season. Bet just $5 on Thursday's game and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Thursday, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on Buffalo or LA to win. If your team leads by 7 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code WIBC to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on Thursday Night Football. That's code WIBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel this week to win tickets to see Craig Ferguson at the Egyptian Room at Old National Center on Saturday, September 17th.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
The Queen is currently under medical supervision at Balmoral. This is after doctors raised concerns for the monarch's health, and Prince Charles and Prince William are reportedly going to Balmoral to visit with the Queen. Is it time that she make Charles the regent and he just take over officially?
Okay, before we get into any of this, because I made the mistake, and every time I read about these people, I get this way. Mm-hmm. I read a story about this, and I have to read the quotes about it, and nothing enrages me more than seeing that reference of would they refer to a king or queen, Her Majesty or His Majesty.
Yeah, and I
hate that.
I don't like it when American writers say that because it's not our majesty. But if you're from UK.
No, it's not. There's only one majesty, and his name was Jesus Christ, and he died on a cross over 2,000 years ago.
Well, to them, though, the queen is appointed and anointed by God. She believes that she is anointed by God to be a queen.
Think about how
on earth.
Wholly ridiculous that is, and they keep that name up. Like, you are just a line to the throne. You are a name. Mm-hmm. Your bloodline. There's nothing she did, because they do this with the Pope too, and this also makes me infuriated. And I'm sure a bunch of people are going to get mad at me for saying this. The idea that a group of men get in a room and fight it out. And then go, this is the guy.
Fight it out.
And then all of a sudden, they put some smoke up in the air, and this guy suddenly has a direct line to God that nobody else has. There is nothing anywhere that says that is the way that it's supposed to work. And I hate when a regular person is Her Majesty. That it rages me, and this is why I shouldn't read about these people. And maybe it's because they were so awful to us before we kicked their ass in the 1700s.
Okay,
but there's a lot of pent up frustration. But I hate this whole thing that these people get all this life of luxury and lavishness, and people kiss their ass 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because of a bloodline. That's it. That's all it is.
Well, that's what it is, though. It's a bloodline that goes back thousands of years. You don't think that has any weight to it?
No. Because they won some wars? What is it? Why? These people are not. There is no actual. The Queen and King of England, or Queen about to be King of England, probably has no actual real power anymore. It's all a ceremonial
Not anymore,
thing.
but they used to.
Sure, when they were awful, horrific people who were slaughtering citizens left and right. Boy, Her Majesty, what a great person. These people got what they got based on slaughtering innocents. And I made the mistake because I was, she is obviously a prominent world figure.
Probably the world's most famous person. The most famous person on Earth.
You think so?
Who else is more?
More famous than the Pope? There's no way the Queen of England is universally more known than the Pope.
You know what the Queen of England looks like. Do you know what the Pope looks like?
Yeah.
What's he look like? Describe him.
An old guy, white hair. He's in a wheelchair a lot of times these days. The last couple times I've seen him.
If the Pope walked in here without his Pope hat, you'd be able to say, oh, that's the Pope.
Yes, because I keep up on the news. Now, could the average person? Probably not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The average person. So the world's most famous person, I would contend that maybe it is the Queen.
But, okay, if the Queen of England, the Pope, all right, the Pope, let's say the Pope comes to America and says, I'm going to give you're Catholic, so you would know this. What do they call it, a speech? Or is there some name when the Pope gives it?
A sermon, a homily?
Okay, whatever it is. Like when John Paul came to America, I think he went to this football stadium in Detroit, and there were something like 90,000 people came to see the Pope give a speech. If the Queen of England comes to America and is giving a speech, there's not 90,000 people filling up a football stadium. I mean, the Pope could probably fill up the big house in Michigan.
Well, I don't know that opportunity's ever been presented for the Queen to say, hey, I'm doing a gig at the stadium. Tickets are available.
You're telling me you think if the Queen of England said, I'm coming to America to give a speech and I'm doing it in the big house in Michigan, she could fill the big house for a speech?
No, probably not.
I also think that if you said in terms of most recognizable people, now I was doing famous in terms of, you said, do you know the Pope versus the Queen of England? If we're doing most recognizable, I would maintain Tiger Woods is far more recognizable than the Queen of England.
No way.
Like if Tiger Woods walks into a Wendy's.
No.
Listen to this. If Tiger Woods walks into a Wendy's and the Queen of England walks into a Wendy's, far more people are going to think it's just some little old lady who wants a double stack versus, oh my gosh, it's Tiger Woods.
No.
Or, oh my gosh, it's The Rock.
No, Tiger Woods walks in and people are going to go, oh, it's just a dude getting a hamburger wearing athletic gear.
There is no way the majority of people would not recognize Tiger Woods or The Rock if they walked into a local Wendy's.
All right, so who's the most famous person on the earth? Please, by all means, let Rob Kendall know.
I did not mean to derail this entire segment, but I just made the mistake, and it happens every time that I do this with these people because there's nothing special about them. There's nothing great. There's nothing wonderful that they've done. Hell, her father, you can't even make the case, like, at least with her father, a real leader during World War II, helped really save society. If you think about the people who defeated communism even, it was far more Margaret Thatcher than the Queen of England having anything to do with it. It was Margaret Thatcher, Pope John Paul, and Ronald Reagan. There's nothing this queen has done really that is extraordinary other than she was in the bloodline and has lived forever.
And has had a long reign.
Right, which that's amazing.
Well, she's done a lot of service to her country and the Commonwealth, though.
What do you mean service to her country? She's self-service. I mean, she lives in castles and palaces.
No. They do a lot of charity work and the Princess Trust.
Casey, we had this conversation the other day about Diana. If you're spending someone else's money, look at all this money I gave away. It's not like the Queen of England was, built Apple or something.
No, but they bring awareness to different causes. They do. They do. Princess Diana with AIDS and Harry and William with mental illness.
Right.
Those sort of things.
Right, but there's nothing, my point is there's nothing they did that you would say, wow, they were really incredible figures who earned their lot in life. I'm not arguing that, look, lots of people work at their soup kitchens on weekends or the food pantry. They don't get to live in castles. They don't have their wealth because, wow, Princess Diana was a great AIDS activist. They were given because of blood lineage. They were born not just on third base, they were born on, an inch from home plate. I mean,
well, and that's the way it works in that country. Yeah, there are different class levels.
This is why I loathe all of these people, and that's why I'm glad we kicked their ass 240 years ago. And this is why every time I read about these people, I become enraged and go off the rails.
Well, the Queen just recently appointed Liz Truss as the new prime minister over there, but she is remaining in Balmoral, and we will see how this unfolds if Prince Charles becomes a regent.
What does that mean?
It means he's the de facto king.
Oh. Is it like she can't be the queen?
Right.
So he becomes
the unofficial king until she passes.
Here's a real quick question, and we spent way more time on this than I wanted to, but people seem to enjoy it, so it's fine. My dad and I had this conversation the other day. Can the Queen of England skip Charles? Could she say, you are not the king, even though you're in line to the throne based on the goofy rules that they have? Could she say, I'm skipping you and it's William? Like, does he have to be...
I think she can, but whether they do that or not, I mean, that has happened in the past.
So that's a legal maneuver. Also another reason this is all
the
dumb.
line of succession. I believe it's an act of parliament that they have a legal line of succession. And there have been kings in the past who have not followed that line of succession. For example, Edward, I believe he was Henry VIII's son. He wanted to appoint Jane Grey as queen rather than marry Henry VIII's daughter.
See,
and then
there's too many of these people.
Yeah, it gets confusing.
There's too many of them. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm glad we did it.
You're testing my British royal
and all that being said,
too.
I hope the Queen continues to live a long, happy life. I'm not wishing ill on anyone. I just Her Majesty, His Majesty. It's ridiculous, and I would be mortified, to see my name in print calling someone else His Majesty or Her Majesty.
Well, nobody's going to call you King Rob anytime soon. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and coming up next, we're going to talk about Marco Rubio.
Innovation in cancer treatment doesn't just bring a new level of care; it brings a new level of hope. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, we're providing access to even more potentially groundbreaking Phase 1 clinical trials to our communities. And any one of them could lead to the next big breakthrough, setting us all on a path to eliminating the disease once and for all. Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Verizon Connect has a new AI dash cam with dual cameras. It's sleek, simple, and easy to install. Oh, and did I mention it's AI smart? It'll give your team real-time alerts.
Tailgating.
And each video is automatically classified and sent to your team, giving you context to help coach your drivers. Best yet, it seamlessly works in one platform that tracks your vehicles, dispatches jobs, and much more. See how Verizon Connect can help manage your fleet at VerizonConnect.com/radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Don't miss the final days of the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
Good morning. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. All right, now we've got to share this poll that Kylan found.
Yeah. So last segment, if you're just tuning in, we got a little derailed. It's 100% my fault. I made the egregious mistake of reading a story about the health of the Queen, and then I saw the phrase that just enrages me, which is when people call another person on this earth Her Majesty or His Majesty, because there's only one king, and his name is Jesus Christ, and the idea that we worship humans or put them in some sort of pedestal as though by birth or selection, in the case of the Pope, old men in a room somewhere, that you have some greater line to God or access than any other person could choose to have. Just it enrages me, but that's not the point. And then we got off in a conversation about who the most famous person in the world was.
Right, and I thought that the Queen probably ranks up there. You said Tiger Woods.
Or The Rock. I said if Tiger Woods or The Rock walked into a Wendy's, everybody would know who Tiger Woods or The Rock is in terms of most visibly famous people. Most people would think the Queen is just some old woman ordering a double stack.
And I have said in the past, I think Donald Trump would be on one of those lists as well.
I agree.
Easily recognizable.
So Kylan found a list. Does it say who did the list?
There were two different articles. It doesn't say who by.
It doesn't matter because this person agreed with me. And so that's all that matters. And who was the number one person on the list? Number one most famous person?
Yeah, for this article is The Rock.
Absolutely. There's no way, looking the way The Rock does and all the movies he's been in and the Universal, all the countries he goes to, that The Rock is not the most recognizable person in the world.
So her list also had Jeff Bezos on it. It had Elon Musk on it, but it had Joe Biden on it. And you're telling me that more people think Joe Biden is more recognizable than Donald Trump?
Well, here's the problem.
No way.
I agree with you. That's
a bogus list.
But The Rock was number one, which fits my narrative of the thing we were talking about last segment. So we're going to go with it.
We're going to go with it. All right. Thank you, Kylan. Good research. So Marco Rubio was on Fox and Friends, and he was saying that the DOJ and the FBI were strategically leaking information to the media. And these are about the documents that were seized at the raid at Mar-a-Lago. He currently serves as the vice chair of the Intelligence Committee. He also sits in the Gang of Eight. So what do we think of this guy? He's somewhat of a flip-flopper because in the past, he has said that we couldn't trust Trump with nuclear codes.
Well, Rubio...
So which side is he on here?
Rubio was elected, if you recall, when he was elected in 2010. He and Ted Cruz, I think, were elected at the same time. We're going to be sort of the next generation of great conservative thinkers. And Rubio did what so many people do, is they're elected on one standing for a group of things, and then get in the Senate and realize the rise to power, the rise to leadership is paved not through doing what you say to the people, but rather doing what your adult supervision over there, in this case Mitch McConnell, tells you to do. And so Rubio numerous times, either as the Gang of Eight or whatever, has strayed from the original Marco Rubio. That being said, in this case, I thought this was a phenomenal clip of him blasting the DOJ, and this is absolutely happening, strategically leaking information on the Trump raid because of politics.
Well, let's break this down. First of all, again, we really don't know, because let's go back and understand that all of this information is coming from one side and one place, and that is sources with knowledge of the investigation. Well, who are the sources with knowledge of the investigation? The FBI and the Justice Department, and they are leaking to the media. So generally, when there's an investigation by the FBI or the Justice Department, they're not even acknowledging there is an investigation, much less leaking. These people every single day are strategically leaking information that can't be rebutted, by the way, or in any way analyzed, for a reason. And that's politics, to influence the narrative.
It's Marco Rubio right there. And there was a recent poll done in Florida. This was done by AARP, and it says that DeSantis and Rubio are leading in their midterm races. And Rubio is leading with 49%, while his opponent is at 47%. Close races down there. So this was a statewide poll done in Florida. And of course, they were asked what the important issues facing the state were.
Yeah.
And 20% said inflation. 14% said jobs and economy were the top concern. And then 12% said abortion was the leading issue in Florida.
And that seems about right. And I continue to say that in almost every poll, inflation or the economy, however they word it, remains the number one issue. And that's why, despite no matter what you're being told, Republicans are going to, at the bare minimum, take back the House. And by the time it's all said and done, probably win the Senate. I have another important question for you, Casey.
Yeah.
And I know I've sprung a couple of these on you this hour, but I wasn't sure we were going to have internet again today, so I came up with several of them.
Sure.
So the Obamas were at the White House yesterday.
Yeah, unveiling their official portraits.
And
it was their first visit, by the way, to the White House since they left in 2017.
Well, and so I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for this, but whatever, it's fine. Get in line. Why does the first lady, and I'm sure someday it'll be the first man, why do they get a portrait? Like, what did they do other than luck out that they were sleeping with the right person? Like, seriously, why did the first lady was not elected to anything? Or
No.
and I'm not picking it because it's a woman. I'm saying, someday it'll be a first man, and I'll ask the same question. Why am I as a taxpayer, being subjected to this person who nobody voted for? Why do they get a portrait? What did they do? What did Michelle Obama do? Or just so people say, well, you're being mean to the Democrat. What did Laura Bush do other than run some guy over years ago? Why does she have a portrait?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh.
Behind every successful man is a good woman.
So you should get a portrait that hangs up in the White House?
Well, I think at this point it comes down to tradition, because if you look at Obama's portrait, which they unveiled, his looks more like a photograph, right? It's done on a white background, and I believe his was the one that took longer to actually paint. So if it's just tradition, we've got him for every single president and first lady when there was one. So why would we not continue that?
Michelle Obama's picture.
The history of America.
This is always my question. I'm just asking in general. Why do these first ladies, in this case, get portraits?
Well, it's also a way of honoring and memorializing people. It marks time. It marks the fashion of the time, what was going on in the country.
Michelle Obama's picture
during their presidency.
Did you see Michelle Obama's painting?
Yeah.
I watched.
She's sitting on a couch. She's wearing a blue chiffon dress. It's off the shoulder.
Yeah, but like her face.
She looks like she's kind of pouty a little.
Yeah, but her face. It's like the first. What do they call those on the social media when you take everything off your face? What's that called?
When you filter it?
Filters. Yes, that's what it's called.
Blur the wrinkles?
Right. This looked like it's the first portrait that was like in the Instagram, Snapchat era, because her face is like void of any sort of really
fine lines,
really feature or anything. Like it doesn't.
Well, that's the artist. That's the artist's interpretation.
Right. She doesn't look like that.
But it's not a picture. That's the thing.
But it is a picture.
No, it's a portrait. It's a painting.
What's the difference? It's what she looked like.
It's the medium that's used. Paint versus photography.
Yeah, but like a picture of Napoleon looks like a picture of Napoleon. They didn't give him a full head of hair. He's got, like a he's receding hairline. They didn't make him look like Elvis. Because that's how he looked.
He doesn't look like Elvis.
No, but I'm saying
picture.
the purpose of a portrait is how did the person, Andrew Jackson, did not look like a 22-year-old man.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The point of the portrait is to get a view of what they look like, but it's a representation. It's not actual. It's not.
What are you saying?
It's not photographic evidence. It's interpretation by an artist.
So the interpretation is that Michelle Obama is now an Instagram filter. What does this mean? It's an interpretation. Like you're sitting there, you draw the person. Napoleon has got the famous one with his hand in his pocket, or George Washington.
Yeah, and if you took a picture of Napoleon, it's going to look different than a painting.
But the point was they didn't make him have features that are ridiculous and non-existent. Again, I come back to his hair. If the goal is to make Napoleon this, people have lines, they have wrinkles, they have stuff, they exist.
Right, and the artist decided not to include those in the picture of her.
And you appear to be just fine with this.
Because it's a painting. It's not supposed to be an exact replica.
But all the other paintings The people have, if you go back and look at an old picture or painting of Abraham Lincoln, he doesn't not have any wrinkles. He isn't void of any sort of features of people. People age. Like, that's part of aging. She's a whatever, almost 60-year-old, or maybe than that woman. You age. It is what happens.
Okay. Well, okay. Jackie Kennedy.
Yes.
Very famous portrait of her. She's standing in it. She looks very solemn and It's very statuesque. There's kind of a loneliness air about her.
Well, her husband was murdered.
And that's what they were trying to interpret in the portrait. But she was not always lonely and ghostly looking in her entire life.
Her face didn't look like glass in the portrait, Casey.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you for listening this morning.
What you gonna do? Are you ready for Thursday night football? Feel the excitement of opening night with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. DraftKings is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the start of a new season. Bet just $5 on Thursday's game and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Thursday, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Bet on Buffalo or LA to win. And if your team leads by 7 at any point during the game, you get paid even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WIBC to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on Thursday night football. That's code WIBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets. One early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
America's leading internet provider just got even faster. Switch to Spectrum Internet, and you now get starting speeds of up to 300 megabits per second. Faster speeds for streaming, faster speeds for gaming, faster speeds for working or learning, all with 99.9% network reliability. So no matter what you do online, you can do it better, safer, and now even faster with Spectrum Internet. Visit Spectrum.com for details. Based on internet subscribers among top ISPs, speeds may vary. Restrictions apply.
Life is complicated. Choosing a healthcare provider doesn't have to be.
That's why I choose a nurse practitioner for my family's primary care.
My NP is accessible and takes the time to listen. I love my NP.
Our NP orders tests, makes the correct diagnoses, and prescribes the medications we need.
My name is David, and I choose an NP.
My name is Molly, and we choose NPs.
Consider an NP. Visit WeChooseNPs.org to learn more. When patients choose, patients win.
Wounded Warrior Project really gave me everything I needed to become who I once was.
Right now at Tire Discounters, we'll knock off up to $220 on a set of select tires when you donate any amount to the Wounded Warrior Project. Let's hear more from veterans they've helped.
They've given me confidence.
It's been pretty much priceless.
They gave me this big smile.
We hope you'll stop in, get a great deal on tires, and give a little. It's our turn.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
As a roofer, every second counts. Late deliveries and incomplete orders cost me time and money. That's why I partner with Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. With Beacon, I know my supplies will be delivered on time and complete. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
When I was in my active addiction, self-esteem was horrible.
You feel judged. You feel labeled.
These are our friends and family. Don't stop offering them kindness and love and compassion.
And that's how you stay in recovery, is that connection.
Addiction is a disease, treatment is out there, and recovery is possible.
There's hope, and hope means recovery for everybody.
To learn more, visit knowthefactsindiana.org.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the coroner's report is out how the father and 3 kids died after they went missing earlier this year. Plus, Harrison Silcox reports on a federal prison sentence for an Indy man, and also a lawsuit filed by the workers of the Tropicana Casino in Evansville, what they're suing for. All that and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
They're praying for the Queen in Britain. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After doctors expressed concern this morning.
This is something we really haven't seen in a very long time in this country. A country on edge with this news about the ill health of the Queen, the beloved Queen Elizabeth II. She is up at Balmoral. That's her Scottish estate.
Now, Prince Charles, the Queen's son, is there. Her grandsons, Prince William and Harry, are on their way.
She greeted the new incoming Prime Minister, Liz Truss, on Tuesday. But just yesterday, she was forced to cancel a Zoom meeting with Truss and other government members. And that was an indication that there could be something wrong.
Fox's Greg Palcott in London. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Ukraine today as the U.S. pledges $2 billion in more military aid and financing to help fight off Russia's invasion. Some of the money also goes to other European nations threatened by Russia. Steve Bannon has just turned himself in, mobbed by a throng of reporters and others outside the Manhattan DA's office. The ex-Trump advisors surrendered to face New York State charges over a Build the Wall fundraising effort that also had Bannon charged federally until President Trump pardoned him.
It's not the only legal trouble for Bannon. He is facing sentencing next month for his conviction on contempt charges for defying a congressional subpoena in connection with the House Committee's investigation of the January 6th attack on the Capitol. He could get up to 2 years in federal prison.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. A Memphis man will be facing 4 murder charges for attacks that left 3 others injured. Some of the shootings were posted online.
When viewers tipped off police about the live stream, they were able to link it to the suspect in the first shooting, 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly. Realizing that he was likely responsible for additional shootings around the city, police urged all residents to stay home, and if they were already out, to shelter in place.
Fox's Jonathan Seri in Memphis. Police stopped the man in a stolen car late at night. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
How they died. Sunny and 71 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Kyle Mormon and his 3 kids died by drowning back in July. They had gone on a fishing trip on the south side and went missing. The Marion County coroner also says that Mormon was drunk at the time he died. He had alcohol poisoning. Mormon and the 3 young kids were found dead in a car at the bottom of a pond. A man from Indy will spend over 6 years in prison. Harrison Silcox explains why.
It was 2 a.m, May 16th, 2021, when an off-duty IMPD officer was working at a parking garage and a woman said someone with a rifle threatened her. Prosecutors saying the officer then heard a gunshot and ID'd 33-year-old Antoine Hopkins as the shooter. He was carrying an AR-15 loaded with 2 30-round magazines. According to court documents, he had prior felony convictions, including carrying a handgun without a license. That prohibited him from having a gun in the first place. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may not realize just how much you need your kids' school bus drivers until they don't come to work. That's been happening in Washington Township in Indianapolis on the north side.
Most schools that are not public don't provide buses. We use our public schools because, in part, we have transportation. One of our children has a disability. She couldn't get to school without a wheelchair-accessible bus.
Reagan Swald, a parent there, talking to Wish TV. It's not clear why the drivers have been calling off work this week. The Tropicana Evansville Casino is being taken to court in a class action lawsuit. It's by several casino workers who say that the company that Tropicana owes them a lot of money when it comes to wages. Now, many workers that are working at the casino, they're paid a server's wage, which means they make below minimum wage because they make a certain amount in tips every week. But state law says that a wage can only be paid in that regard if the company gives them a tip credit notice. Well, Tropicana workers say that they haven't been getting such notices, and they're demanding payment for wages that they're owed. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel here for our friends at All-Star Roof, Siding, and More. They did some awesome work on my house, had some siding that was rotted out. All-Star got in, replaced the siding within a couple of days, and it looks fantastic. Hey, also, with some of the storms that came through, if you think you have damage to your roof, call the only company we'd recommend. That's All-Star Roof, Siding, and More. Tom, the owner, will come out to your house. They're going to work with your insurance adjuster and work with your insurance company's pricing to make sure you get the kind of expert service you can count on with All-Star Roof, Siding, and More.
What I love about All-Star Roof, Siding, and More is that the owner of the company, he's often the one that comes out to your house. And yes, they work weekends as well. I know this because they came out to my house on the weekends and completely redid my gutters. All-Star Roof, Siding, and More. Call them today, 522-6409. That's 522-6409, or go to allstarroofingsiding.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's Fall Flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, September 8th, and things that are trending this hour. Queen Elizabeth. She is currently under medical supervision. Also trending, former CNN anchor Bernard Shaw. He has passed away of pneumonia, unrelated to COVID-19. And finally trending, the NFL. It's back tonight. Buffalo Bills at Los Angeles Rams. The game can be viewed on NBC. It is 6 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. What are you smirking for?
No, it's just the amount of feedback we got on the YouTube chat about the back and forth we had last hour. By the way, we're back up on the YouTube chat. Just let everybody know after a day or two away, that is working now. So you can once again watch the program. Just put Kendall and Casey in your YouTube browser, and you can watch the show.
So last hour, we were talking about the portraits of the Obamas that were unveiled. Yes. And I will just add this one last thought. Art is subjective. Oh. It's 7 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Before you can come at me, I'm changing the subject and moving on. California declaring a power grid emergency. This, of course, after they have sustained blistering heat, and it is pushing the state's electricity system beyond the limit. They've experienced 110 degrees and lots of heat warnings. They've been advised to turn off unnecessary lights, stop using major appliances, set their air conditioning thermostats to 70 degrees or higher, use fans, draw your drapes, don't charge your electric vehicles, all of this and so much more. And the Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, was saying that California's leading the way on energy and can show the rest of the nation how it's done.
What is happening in California? I feel bad for some of those people out there. But look, if you voted for this, and you're getting this, then you get, I always say you get the government you deserve. And part of this is brought on by a record heat wave, but also a part of it has been brought on by the fact that California repeatedly pushes these green dream, pie in the sky agendas that do things like strain a power grid. And California is not just doubling, they're quadrupling down on it by demanding that all new cars sold in the state by whatever the number is, 2030.
2035.
Is that the number? Okay. Be all electric. And so you are forcing people, the government, who is elected, so people are forcing themselves into this insanity and calamity. And hopefully the good that comes out of this is that other states look at what's happening when you see radical liberalism on full display and realize you're next, pal.
And, Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about this, right? And she was asked if Biden agrees with the Energy Secretary that California is an example for the rest of the country. And let's see how she responds.
And then one more then. Last Friday, the Energy Secretary
set of green technology in California, that state was in the lead and showing the rest of the nation how it's done. The state is currently bracing for blackouts. They've set ambitious goals, and yet in particular, their governor is asking folks there not to charge their electric vehicles. Does the president agree that California is an example for the rest of the country as it transitions?
I haven't seen those specific statements. I would like to see it in fuller context that the secretary has made. So I'm not going to comment on something that I haven't seen in full. But if you have another question, I'm happy.
So, okay, so this is another thing that always amazes me. So you're the press secretary for the president.
Mm-hmm.
A cabinet member, energy secretary, made the statement. The cabinet secretary works at the discretion of who, Casey?
The president.
The president.
Mm-hmm.
It's why it's called the president's cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
We, who are not in the president's administration, saw this because it's freaking everywhere, all over the internet. And you, as the spokesperson for the president, of which the energy secretary works for who?
President.
The president. Oh, I have no idea.
I haven't seen
that statement. Don't have internet. Maybe she's like us. Didn't have internet the other day. Give me a break.
So it's just more denial, gaslighting, lying. I mean, what are we calling it at this point? I feel like we need to invent a new word for this. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to comment on it. Okay. By the way, the U.S. electric grid, which consists of power plants, wires, transformers, poles, its depreciated value is about at $2 trillion,
yes.
And it would cost about $5 trillion to replace it. But the energy secretary was saying we're not going to replace it. We're going to add new clean energy initiatives.
Green.
Yeah.
And the price of the upgrades would be $5 trillion regular.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do all the green stuff.
Which will cost even more.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And earlier this morning, we were talking about how the IRS admitted that they actually had a leak and 120,000 people's information was sent out online.
Yes.
Well, with the 87,000 new IRS agents on the way, now that the Inflation Reduction Act is unleashing a tougher IRS, maybe they won't get those leaks. But let's talk about tax audits, right?
Well, this is my question to you. So I think they said there was an admission somewhere that only 3% of these agents are going to be applied to customer service. Like, when you call the IRS, it takes forever to get a hold of someone, and so 3%. So I'm a product of the public education system. 3% is less than half of 10%. Let's just round it. Let's give them half and say 400 agents. Okay, so 400 agents at 3% are what's going to go of these 87,000 that are going to be hired. Now, I talked to an accountant the other, my accountant friend who is way too good and expensive for me to use, but is used by many prominent people in central Indiana. And he made a great point. Because I asked him, I said, this is a stupid question. Where are all of these accountants for the IRS going to come from? And he said, the real concern right now is they don't exist. There's not enough of these people who are qualified to do this. So the problem is, and again, this was said in a nonpartisan fashion, even though this person is conservative. He was saying from his perspective as an accountant, they're going to have to go to, and I'm not going to give names of companies because they don't pay us money, so I'm not going to do it. But you know who I'm talking about. These local, low-level, large-scale accounting companies who it's $200 we file your taxes or whatever.
Right.
And they're going to start plucking these people from there. Now, every job is valuable. Every job is worthy. Every job should be saluted because you're contributing to the economy. But those people's knowledge of the tax code is not near the depth or overall knowledge that you would want for somebody who works for the Internal Revenue Service. So you're essentially going to have a group of underqualified people being hired because a good accountant can make 10 times what they make working at the IRS.
Right.
No uber qualified person
is going to want that
is going to work for the IRS. So
Right.
now you're going to have underqualified, underinformed people working at the Internal Revenue Service interpreting the tax code, and only about 400 of these people are going to go to customer service. And as the accountant friend told me we were talking about yesterday, the billionaires already get audited every single year. The reason you can't get them is they have an army of uber qualified accountants who know the tax code. That's why you don't get them, because they're not, for the most part, breaking any laws, because they pay really smart people to figure out. So where are the, by our math, 86,600 of these people going to go? And they're not going to be super qualified. This is going to be a nightmare, Casey.
So there's these group of lawmakers, Cassidy and Fitzpatrick. There's a group of them. So they wrote this letter to the IRS commissioner, and they said that there's no way they're going to be able to hire enough of these people. So far, they have only 3,400 of the 5,000 customer service representatives that they plan to bring in by the end of this year. And they wanted to hire 10,000 new customer service representatives, and they're nowhere near on track for that.
Right.
So how are we going to get this 87,000?
Right.
And here's our Arizona Republican candidate for governor, Carrie Lake. She was on with Charlie Kirk, and she was, blasting the plan to hire these 87,000 IRS agents.
I have no words, and I'm very rarely at a loss of words for the government hiring 87,000 IRS agents and arming them. You know who they're going to go after. Obviously, Joe Biden has weaponized the federal government. They're probably going to go after people who are conservative. They've got lists of who's who. And Joe Biden made mince no words when he had that just demonic address to the nation last week, basically calling out people who didn't vote for him. So that's who they're going to be aiming for.
So do you think they're really going to be CPAs at all?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think they are going to be these large-scale national tax-preparing organization. These will be the sort of workers who the reason they're working there and not in a private practice or a major accounting firm and making less money is because they're not as good. They're not even on the same planet. It's like an independent league baseball player versus a major league baseball player, or a guy who plays on the low-level golf tour versus the PGA Tour. There's a reason they're there. And these are the people, because of what the government will pay them, they're going to be hired into the system that are going to be, you're basically going to be at their mercy of them interpreting and enforcing the tax code.
And they're going to be going for the pension and going after you, and they don't care. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
That he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart.
The MAGA Republicans are a threat to our democracy.
That's an election year theme. I feel the enthusiasm. You can see it. I think the Democrats are going to be shocked.
Their woke, socialist, green dream ideology.
Unified Democratic Party.
We see Democrats in disarray.
This fall will be a season like no other.
It is a blood sport.
And the best seat of the House
Right here
is 93 WIBC.
Guys, if you need an annual health exam, check out the Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They'll check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider. And they give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center, specializing in men's health. Go to lowtcenter.com right now. Book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing Heating Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new air conditioner or furnace is a big decision and can be pricey. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. Why? Because the PHP guarantee says, if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. 0 down, 0 interest. A $6,000 diamond ring is just $100 a month. Don't miss this extraordinary offer going on now. 5 years, 0 interest financing on anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a bad dude.
And Casey Daniels.
She's something,
She is magnificent.
On 93 WIBC.
An Indiana Walmart worker has been accused of stealing $225,000 from the store. This is happening in Evansville, where somebody has been arrested and charged with stealing thousands of dollars from the store where she worked. And so this Keisha Mordock faces 10 felony counts of the theft. She told police that her job was a front-end lead, and that included taking money to and from the self-checkout registers. Little for you, little for me, little for you, little for me.
This is wild, right? Because it could be as much as $225,000, according to loss prevention. Our news gathering partners at Wish TV had the story. Over a 2-year period, the cash they know about totaled $46,000, according to investigators. And so I will ask this question to you, Casey.
No, I've never stolen that much from anyone.
You notice she added that much?
Well, at all.
You've stolen the hearts of thousands, but never any money. Have you ever worked for a large retailer?
Yeah. I worked for a drugstore for many years.
Okay. So the question is, isn't there some sort of, don't they count the cash? Doesn't some arbitrary third party come in and count the cash at the end of each evening to ensure that the dollars in the
you got to X out and Z out the drawer. That's what it's called.
Right. Okay. So I have to go all the way back because I was self-employed for so long. When I was in high school, I worked at an Arby's, and at the end of the night, an arbitrary third party would come in and say, your register should read whatever.
This much
and
money.
as long as you were now they frowned if it were ever short, but as long as you were within, there's 20 cents missing. It wasn't like, again, we're gonna launch a criminal probe. But somebody was ensuring at the end of each night, this drawer matches up, and if it's off,
with the receipts.
Right, either Rob, you've made an egregious mistake, or Rob, you're pocketing the money. Let's figure out which one it was.
Right.
How do you secure, whether it's $46,000 or potentially $225,000 over a 2-year period? How do you get away with that? You would think Walmart would be the ultimate. It's one of the largest retailers in America.
Yeah.
Would have some sort of check and balance to prevent that from happening.
Well, I can see if it's a cash business, where if somebody comes in and buys something and they pay cash and that just goes into your pocket. But it's Walmart, where people are using their debit cards and their credit cards. And
also a great point.
I can't imagine that you would be able to take in that much cash into your pocket. $46,000.
How often do you even see people using cash anymore?
Right. It's still legal.
Yes, it is still illegal to use actual money for now.
Yeah. I get asked that, are you check or credit card? Well, how about cash? We still take that? American dollars? Yeah, I don't know how. And it's not always a third person, though, Rob. Sometimes if you're a cashier and you work in the register, you take your drawer, and sometimes you have to count it out yourself. So is she fudging the receipts, or what?
I don't know. This is why this story just absolutely fascinated me, how that would even be humanly possible.
Well, she faces 10 felony counts of theft. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And, there he is. He's one of the world's most famous people, so we got to talk about him. It's Elon Musk. A judge has denied his attempt to delay the Twitter trial. So he attempted to get the trial pushed back to October, right? And his attorneys argue for a meager few weeks to review new information before the trial is expected to start on October 17th. But the judge said, no.
It's certainly,
we're not giving you more time.
Well, and it certainly appears right now that, by the way, October 17th is the scheduled start date.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're just interpreting rulings thus far, statements thus far. This judge is not screwing around, and he's got a really big hill to climb. And I think his entire case, it appears right now, is going to rest on whether he was misled by Twitter in terms of information. I think this really is a case of a guy who thought Twitter will not call my bluff. I will offer to buy the company. They will never take it. And then I will be able to be this martyr out there in the sense of I tried to fix it. I tried to be the champion of free speech. Now he's stuck. He's likely to be really stuck. And if ultimately he has to come through with the purchase of Twitter, you could see one of the great unravelings in American history. I'm not saying it's going to, but given how leveraged he will be, and on the fact that a whole bunch of his stuff makes money on idea alone and not on actual production, Elon Musk could be in big trouble.
Twitter is accusing him of trying to drag out the trial and sow chaos with more document requests. Twitter said the company's been forced for months to manage under the constraints of a merger agreement. So, yeah, they're still operating. They're trying to go on as business as usual. Meanwhile, this is all happening.
Real quick, think about this. So we were just purchased by Urban One. And not to say we're not vital and very important to the city of Indianapolis and greater central Indiana, but the cash purchase of our company was a fraction of what Elon Musk paid for Twitter. And think about the due diligence that probably went into making a purchase even the size of this. There's no way you're going to lead me to believe that Elon Musk did not have, no matter what Twitter was saying, an actual idea that, wow, a large portion of these accounts are not real. And I think it's going to be just a really tough sale to a judge to say, well, I was totally misled and deceived. And unless it's just so much markedly higher than Twitter was representing, he's probably going to be stuck buying this company.
Well, I think one of the most interesting things that has come out of it is how is Putin involved in this? Okay. So at the hearing, the lawyers pointed to a text message that Elon Musk sent to his banker and asked him to slow down the deal for a few days because he wanted to evaluate a speech that Putin gave. And Elon said, it won't make sense to buy Twitter if we're heading into World War III. So there's some possible evidence there that there's an ulterior motive of why he's trying to get out of the deal.
Yeah.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It's 10:27. Good morning.
One of the best things that's happened here in Indy over the past year is the arrival of QC Kinetics. Tony Katz here. QC Kinetics is giving relief every day to folks here with chronic joint pain using the latest advances in regenerative medicine. They harness the power of your own body's healing properties, like in your blood or plasma, concentrate them and apply to your affected joints. The results can be mind-blowing. These regenerative treatments are designed to repair and restore your damaged joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no side effects, no steroids, and no downtime. The success rate is incredible, and they're growing fast. They started with one medical clinic. Now they have clinics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and more on the way. Don't continue to live with that nagging joint pain. Discover the exciting all-natural advanced natural options that we have to access thanks to QC Kinetics. It's a free consultation. See what your options are. Call QC Kinetics now. 463-235-7160 in Eagle Creek and Greenwood. 463-235-7160. That's 463-235-7160.
Inspired by touch, by play, by listening and laughter. Inspired by family gatherings and one-on-one conversations. Inspired by long walks, long lives, and lives simply lived well. Inspired by compassion, by healing, by grace and strength. What inspires us at Franciscan Health is you. Franciscan Health, inspiring health.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
This Sunday, when the Colts play Houston, get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on that action. You can turn game day into payday all season long. If I had $150 in free bets, I'd be betting the Colts. I'd be doing all these same-game parlays. I'd probably make a big bet on Jonathan Taylor to win the rushing title. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything from touchdowns to total yards to catches, and you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIBC. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Indianapolis Colts. 21 plus at present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Taking care of the Queen. Sunny and 72 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Doctors are keeping a close eye on Queen Elizabeth II at her summer estate in Scotland. UK Parliament member Ian Blackford speaking in Parliament on the Queen's health.
We're saddened to hear the announcement that's been made, and the thoughts and prayers of all of us will be with Her Majesty the Queen and indeed with the royal family.
The Queen, who is 96, had to cancel a meeting with her Privy Council because doctors told her to rest. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on a surprise visit to Kyiv today. That's where he said that the U.S. intends to send another $2 billion in long-term support to Ukraine and other countries at risk of a Russian invasion. Also, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told President Biden that has approved over a further $675 million in military aid for Ukraine. This will lift total U.S. aid to Ukraine at about $13.5 billion since Russian troops invaded the country. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You forget something?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to pick up Braden tonight after practice.
Oh, did something come up at work?
Nah, not even going to make it in today.
Why? What's going on?
Well, I'm coming up on some construction in about a quarter mile. I've already started ignoring the signs. In a minute, I'll force my way through traffic while texting. I'll pull the wheel a little too far and drive right through the barrels where I'm going to hit a few workers. One of them is going to get killed, so then I'm going to be arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No one plans on having an accident, but you can plan to avoid one. Read the signs. Slow down. Stay alert.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Sundown Gardens has fresh fall annuals, including mums, arriving weekly. Save the date for the fall open house, September 17th, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
On the Tuesday edition of Sirius XM's The Howard Stern Show, he opened up about his feelings, especially those who support the 45th President, Donald Trump. He compared Trump to Putin and said that we don't want to live under a dictator. If you don't like Biden, leave.
Howard Stern is one of the, he's become really a tragic figure for a guy who broke so much ground on in terms of his industry, in terms of his thought, in terms of the way he put together radio shows. He really was a pioneer in the industry and is probably a person that should be strongly considered if you were to create a Mount Rushmore of radio figures. And so it's really sad to see a guy who once was a really independent thinker largely becoming not just a shill for the Democrat Party, but because there was a deep libertarian streak for a long time to Howard Stern, and to the point where at one point he was considered to be a libertarian candidate for president of the United States at one point. I don't know how accurate that actually was.
How serious?
But he has largely in his older age become just a very angry, miserable, terrible human being. Maybe he always was that. I don't know. But here's a little clip when he went on this rant the other day saying that if you question the election, you should just go live in Russia. Take a listen to this.
I feel the people in this country who support all this nonsense and lies and bullshit about the election and all the conspiracy theories, I think none of them have never lived under a dictator. Their freedoms have never really been threatened, and they have no idea what it would be like to live under a different type of system other than democracy. And they don't get it. They're morons. They think somehow that the world would be better under a guy like Trump, like he would take care of them better. I wish for a year they'd go live in Russia under that nut Putin, who is such a monster that he's invaded Ukraine and made people miserable for what, I don't know. I mean, we only get one shot at this planet. And this guy has destroyed the lives of innocent people in Ukraine, mothers, children, fathers, people who were working and enjoying their lives. And now it's ruined because of this man's narcissism. You should go live in Russia, all you now it's ruined because of this man's narcissism. You should go live in Russia, all you out there.
Okay,
I
so
have been avoiding you in the
he goes on to say that people are just dumb, and he identified himself as a somewhat of a conservative, but like a normal conservative. That's what he said.
So if you question that, by the way, I did not hear Howard Stern say anything about questioning the election in 2016.
Right.
And pretty hypocritical of Howard Stern because he used to have Trump on his show all the time.
Well, he's saying that these people have no idea what it's like. Okay, this coming from a guy whose net worth is $650 million. He doesn't know anymore how to relate to high gas prices.
Right.
High grocery prices.
Right.
High rent prices. I mean, he's, his existence has been paid for quite a few years, and he's set. He doesn't have to worry about these day-to-day pains.
But there's also something, too, and we've talked about this many times. Okay, so what happened in 2020? What happened in 2020 is that governors and secretary of states arbitrarily, we saw it happen here, just changed the dates of elections. Changed the way. Here in Indiana, hey, the primary's May, whatever. Nope, now it's June, whatever. But based on what? Our government didn't say that. No, I said it. I being Holcomb and his lackey stooge, Connie Lawson, who was Secretary of State. Heaven forbid that she have any act of independence or accountability. Yep, boss, that sounds like a great idea to me. It happened way worse in these swing states, and it's magical that most of it was just in swing states. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, in which mass mail-in out accountable voting, which including in some of these states, we'll just send the ballot out, assume it gets there, assume it gets back, and then
assume the person filling it out is the person they say they are,
and we'll just give you, in the case of Pennsylvania, whatever it was, like an extra 3 days to send it back in.
Take your time.
The idea that with all of those things, which are undisputable, that happened, it's not like that's open to interpretation or discussion. Those are factual accounts of things that happened in a way election law was arbitrarily changed by oftentimes governors and secretaries of state, that if you question and go, wow, it's kind of wild and wacky that the 1 year that happens, that a guy who refused to leave his basement for most of the campaign got 81 million votes, I don't think that makes you a bad person if you raise your hand and go, I'd like to know a little bit more about what went on in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Well, according to Howard Stern, if you do question that, you should go live in Russia and live under a dictator and see how that feels.
Casey, I learned a new word yesterday.
Yeah, me too. It's an adjective.
I didn't know this was even a word. Given my immense vocabulary, I didn't think that was possible. But I learned a word yesterday, and you'd never heard of this word either.
I had to look it up to make sure I was hearing it properly.
It's churlish.
Churlish, and it's an adjective, and it means rude in a mean-spirited and surly way.
Okay, so the reason we learned the word churlish, not a bad pronunciation of childish, but the word is actually churlish, is that Stacey Abrams gave a little campaign event the other day and said, if you object to giving someone who makes $125,000 a year while you're making $50,000 a year, $10,000 of someone else's money while you get nothing, well, you're being churlish. Listen.
And for those who are angry with Joe Biden for forgiving between $10,000 and $20,000 in debt, I want to ask you why you're being so churlish.
There it is, churlish, ill-mannered, impolite, ungracious, unmannerly, uncivil, ill-bred, boorish.
It's basically every day with me.
I know. I'm sitting here reading these. I'm like, who does this remind me of? Oafish, mean-spirited, ill-tempered. I could go on. Unkind, inconsiderate. Churlish. So if you don't like the idea of paying for someone else's education,
yes,
you're being rude in a mean-spirited and surly way, according to Stacey Abrams.
Yes.
The Georgia governor, Brian Kemp, said that she's losing support of her base. She's fundraising a lot, getting a lot of money from New Yorkers and Californians. But Brian Kemp said that they don't have the same values as Georgians, and she's going to lose.
Yeah, that'd be a shame.
Hey, we've got Hammer coming in next on 93 WIBC. I'm going to guess we're talking about betting, football, NFL.
That's right. Football's back.
NFL starts tonight. And I got daughter's fantasy football team, so I'm going to have to ask him, based on her team, how she would do if she were to bet on any of these people.
Okay, we'll do it.
He's the expert. It's coming up next from 93 WIBC.
Hey, how would you live your life if you could wake up each morning knowing there was enough money coming in to not only cover your basic needs, but also your goals and dreams as well?
The mission at the Singer Financial Group is that they want to work with people who expect their relationship to be transformational rather than transactional. If that's what you're looking for, you should connect with the Singer Financial Group. 317-852-9153. That's 317-852-9153. Or go to singerfinancialgroup.com. Schedule a discovery meeting and see how the retirement income money map planning process could transform your life. 317-852-9153.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AU Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today. Then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival, September 9th through 11th at the Boone County Fairgrounds in Lebanon, featuring lumberjacks competing in 10 events, including speed cutting, axe throwing, and the perilous boom run. We've invited over 20 of America's best chainsaw carving artists who will be creating masterpieces to sell at our on-site auctions. Watch the pros compete in the Indiana's Best Logger competition, browse equipment, and learn about the hardwood industry. It's going down September 9th through 11th. Full details and discount tickets at HoosierHardwoodFestival.com.
There's a lot of people out there that could really use some extra cash, but for whatever reason, they don't want to refinance. But think about this. How much is your home worth today? Now, how much do you owe? The difference is your equity. Now, what could you do with that extra cash? Pay off those high interest rate credit cards? Make home improvement projects a reality? Our average client received over $54,000 with a simple cash out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith. At Life Church, we are a freedom-loving community dedicated to promoting freedom by boldly and courageously speaking truth. If you're looking for a church home and want to experience freedom, come check out one of our Central Indiana Life Church locations. Our new Pendleton campus grand opening is September 18th, and our Noblesville campus is expanding to 3 Sunday services starting September 25th. For all the details on how to get connected to a Life Church near you, visit our website at lifechurchin.com.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Head to the WIBC contest page at WIBC.com to register for your chance to win 2 tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra at Gamebridge Fieldhouse Sunday, December 11th. At WIBC.com, you can stay up to date on local events and see where the Home and Garden Show will be on the road next. Live every Saturday starting at 9. Listen to Pat, Denny, and the gang on Saturday mornings, 9 to 3, WIBC.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like B&W Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Good morning. It's 1046 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And you were in early this morning getting work done. You are the hardest working man in this entire radio station, Hammer.
Right. You hear that, Tony Katz? Suck on that. What do you think about that?
I just got a dirty look from Rob. You work hard, too.
No, it's fine. Hammer puts way more effort into his show than I do ours, so it's okay.
We know.
Hey, so you were on with Dockich earlier, right? He has our friend. We love the coach, Dan Dockich. He has in addition to his show on 107.5, he has a show on the internet each day.
Yes, the Outkick Network, which was founded by Clay Travis, and it's a streaming program.
And you were on with him today, and you guys got into an interesting discussion I was hoping maybe we could have here, which is the word on the street is that Tom Brady and Giselle, how do you say her last name? Is it
Bündchen?
Bündchen? It's an interesting last name. They have still not fully reconciled, and you guys had an interesting little back and forth, and I think it's a great point. Though let's face it, if they go Splitsville, neither one of them is going to have a hard time finding someone else.
Right. Now, think about this. Normally, in a situation like this, Tom Brady could look at probably pretty much any woman in America and say, you're not going to find anybody as good as me.
Right.
Giselle could say the same thing on her end. And Giselle makes more money than Tom Brady does.
Yeah.
She's the breadwinner in that family with all the Victoria's Secret money. So there's always that expression, you find me a hot chick and I'll show you a guy that's tired of her bleep.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, that could go both ways, man. Giselle could very easily have a replacement for Tom Brady like that.
It is interesting, though, that if indeed him agreeing to go back to play football some more is what has done this, look, it's not like she's a single mother raising these kids on her own without any sort of resources. You know, it's not like she's dropping them off at daycare each day. It does seem like sort of an interesting thing. Like, you've been married all this time, you got kids together, she's helping raise his first child that he had. Like, if he comes back to you and goes, man, I just still got it in me. It's not all out of there yet.
I got to go one more year.
Wouldn't you be like, All right, wish you the best. I mean, it seems like that this is the hill that they're dying on.
All right, so Casey, let me get you in the mix here because I need a female's perspective.
Sure.
Let's say that your husband was a football player or a wrestler or somebody in a physical sport.
Yeah.
And you're concerned for his mental well-being later in life.
Yeah.
You don't want to be taking care of somebody. It's going to be sounding like Joe Biden in 20 years. So said boy toy says, all right, this is my last year. No matter what happens, it's last dance. Here we go.
Yeah.
And has a great year. Tom Brady's final pass last year was a touchdown pass in the playoffs to give his team the lead.
Yeah.
Now they lost the game, but that was his final play. So she's like, all right, I'm going to get my husband back.
Right.
We're going to ride off into the sunset.
We made it out without any concussions that are doing permanent damage.
Right. But then he comes out and says, you know what? One more go round. One more go round. Is she concerned that he's going to turn out like guys like Mongo McMichael right now who has concussion syndrome really bad and not going to be able to remember who they are or raise their family? Or is she just like, I'm tired of raising the kids by myself for about 8 months a year?
We hadn't, we had this conversation about who's the a-hole here, him or her. We hadn't taken the health factor into consideration.
That's a good point.
Because the CTE stuff is real, man. I hate to see what happens.
Yes, that's it. She's concerned about his health and she's upset.
And she doesn't want to take care of him. I think that might be a part of it too. I mean, before we put her on the hill of being the saint of best wives of all time, maybe, just maybe, she's like, I don't want to change your diapers in 5 years.
Yeah, but he might as well go out there with the red jersey anyway. It's not like he ever gets hit. I mean, you're within 7 feet of Tom Brady. Stop the play.
Yeah, but you play that long, you'll take some shots. You will. Quarterbacks get hit. So I bet later in life, she's probably concerned that, I want you to remember who our kids are. I want you to remember,
See, now that's a legit argument from her then. To say,
Okay,
yeah.
Follow-up question. So the Yahoo, amongst many other outlets, had a report on this, and they said that Giselle was spotted with their kids at a Miami area water park over the weekend. Okay, Hammer.
So she's back from Costa Rica.
Yeah, so okay, Hammer, you're out there at the water park with your boys, you're sporting that Beach Grove bod.
He's wearing a Speedo.
Yeah, you've got your thong on and you see Giselle at a local water park. You got to walk up and try to talk to her, right?
You do. You have to at least ask for a picture. And could you imagine
what's your line?
Hey, sweet thing, can I buy you a fish sandwich?
Did you know I'm number one?
I happen to have a radio show in Indianapolis. Can you imagine how awesome it would look if you've got like Giselle in her bathing suit, even if it's her mom a bathing suit, it's still Giselle next to like my dad bod, just giving a thumbs up in a picture. How awesome would that look?
It would be good for you.
How does somebody like that even go to a public whatever? Because even if you didn't know who she was, you would look at her and say, wow,
that's an attractive
lady. This doesn't look like the other mommies at the water park. Like, how does security, I guess?
Well, this is how I can tell you haven't been on many vacations. You don't travel a lot, because if you go to the beach, you will find chicks like that. They might not have the clout that Giselle Bündchen has, but you're going to find smoke show chick walking up and down the beach just to be seen. And then you're also going to have people like me with your board shorts on and a farmer's tan. And, I'm walking out knee deep in the water looking for shells.
So here's a question for you. Should Tom Brady have not come back this year? I mean, he doesn't have Gronk with him, so he may not go out on top. He had the opportunity to go out on top, right?
It's what he wants to do. Like, I'm not going to tell a dude, hey, it's time for you to go. If this is what he wants to do, knock yourself out. But what kind of deal was made at home? Did you promise your wife last year was it, and then couple months later, you're like, you know what? I still want to play, and I lied to you, and now she's all ticked off.
Right. Well, and if that's the case, then he's going back on his word, which makes him kind of the jerk, right?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Tom Brady's probably done something that's been a little problematic. I mean, look, he's become more likable as a Buccaneer. I think we can all agree to that. But don't act like he didn't know what was going on in New England with the Spygate stuff and the Deflategate stuff. You knew what was going on.
Okay, so the NFL starts tonight.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills at Los Angeles Rams. The game's on NBC.
Okay, and you told me, and this blew my mind. I feel like I should have just sprinted out and put money on this, but I'm very cheap, so I don't sprint anywhere that involves putting money on something. The Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, who basically have everybody, for the most part, of substance back, are getting points at home.
Right. Buffalo is the road favorite tonight in Los Angeles to open up the season by 2.5 points.
I'm rooting against Buffalo in every single game this year because they've been anointed the greatest team in the history of the world, and they've done nothing to have earned that, right? It wasn't like, boy, they were an inch away from the Super Bowl last year. Boy, a bad call by the ref cost them the championship. People love this Josh Allen guy, and for the most part, he hasn't won crap.
He's the MVP favorite, according to Las Vegas this year.
I always cheer against people that society wants to succeed, so I'm cheering against Buffalo this year. I'm tempted to put some money on the Rams.
Now, do the Rams, isn't their quarterback the former Detroit Lion?
Yeah, Matthew Stafford.
Okay, well, that's who I'm rooting for then.
He's back. Cooper Kupp is back. Aaron Donald's back. The home team on a night where they're going to raise a championship banner is getting points. And since they've been doing this championship kickoff game on Thursday, the defending champions are 14-2.
I once saw Stafford's wife at the Marriott downtown when they were playing the Colts. She's well assembled.
She's a lovely woman.
You don't notice people's appearance, though, Rob.
But nobody really was looking for that.
Thanks, Hammer.
Thank you.
Coming up this afternoon,
Rob Kendall is going to go off the rails.
Fantastic. He's curlish. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
So are you ready to feel the excitement of opening night? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the start of a new season. Bet just $5 on Thursday's game and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Thursday, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on Buffalo or LA to win. If your team leads by 7 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code WIBC to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on Thursday Night Football. That's code WIBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets. One early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. Sundown Gardens' big fall season is here. Visit Sundown Gardens to shop all the new fall inventory in the nursery. Come by Sundown Gardens for fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. All the fall decor will be here soon. Save the date for their fall open house on September 17th. Follow Sundown Gardens on Facebook and Instagram. Make Sundown Gardens part of your fall season. Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule that complete health assessment at the Low T Center. They offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started, only your first 2 visits are in person. LowTCenter.com. Book now. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Wounded Warrior Project really gave me everything I needed to become who I once was.
Right now at Tire Discounters, we'll knock off up to $220 on a set of select tires when you donate any amount to the Wounded Warrior Project. Let's hear more from veterans they've helped.
They've given me confidence.
It's been pretty much priceless.
They gave me this big smile.
We hope you'll stop in, get a great deal on tires, and give a little. It's our turn.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead. and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
With a low fixed rate on Lake City Bank's home equity line of credit, you can use money for expenses now or when you need it later. Learn more at lakecitybank.com. Call 888-522-2265 or visit a branch near you. Subject to credit approval and equal housing lender.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Chris Davis reports on how the father and the 3 kids died, according to the coroner's report. Plus, a man was hit and killed in a hit-and-run late last night. We'll have the details on that. And also, a former student at Mount Vernon High School down in Posey County, arrested out in Arizona. That and more coming up from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
People across Britain are worried about their queen's health. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Well, I hope she recovers.
I hope the family, that they navigate through this difficult period together.
And that is what is happening today after doctors expressed concern about Queen Elizabeth's condition. Fox's Jonathan Hunt.
We get this news that the entire family, it appears, is either in or on the way to Balmoral. I'm just getting word that Harry and Meghan, who are currently in Germany for the Invictus Games, are also heading from mainland Europe across to Scotland.
That's Fox's Jonathan Hunt again saying she's at Balmoral Castle, her summer retreat. The Queen is 96 and has been on the throne for 70 years, longer than any other British monarch. In New York City, 60 days. There was a big crowd surrounding Steve Bannon as the ex-Trump advisor surrendered at the Manhattan DA's office. We've learned now he's facing money laundering and fraud scheming and other charges related to a Build a Border Wall fundraiser. Bannon was first accused in federal court of duping investors out of $1 million, but President Trump let him off the hook with a pardon. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Ukraine today, bringing a U.S. pledge to provide another $2 billion in military aid and financing to fend off Russia's invasion.
A lot of money going to the efforts here in Ukraine and beyond Ukraine. 18 other countries in Europe that the U.S. believes are currently being threatened by Russia. And beyond the dollar signs and the money, officials hope that this is a signal and a message that they are committed to helping these countries for the long haul.
Fox's Jeff Paul in Kyiv. Stocks were down this morning. Now they're up. After the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, ahead of another expected interest rate hike this month, said he does not believe rate hikes to bring down inflation will put the U.S. in a deep recession. The Dow's gaining 150 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
The cause of death. It is sunny and 69 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. You may remember the story of the man and his 3 kids who were missing earlier this summer in Indy. Chris Davis reports on how all 4 of them died.
Their deaths were accidental, says the coroner. But Kyle Moorman was drunk whenever his car went off into a pond on the south side of Indianapolis. His body and the bodies of his children, Kyle, Kiana, and Kieran, ages 5, 3, and 1, were found in the car. The coroner says all of them drowned, but adds that Moorman had alcohol poisoning too. Their bodies were found in July after they had been missing for several days. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A man hit and killed this morning in a hit and run. It was actually late last night. Police arrived to find the man in the middle of the road dead near West Washington Street and New Haven Drive. He had been riding a scooter. Some school bus drivers are calling off of work in Washington Township schools on the north side, causing the other drivers to work harder to get kids to school, and that's causing big delays.
As a district, this is not how we wanted to begin the school year, and certainly not indicative of the service that we want to offer our families.
Nikki Woodson is superintendent explaining what's happening in a video, and they also don't know why so many drivers have been calling off. Arrested in Arizona, a former student at Mount Vernon High School down in Posey County. John Herrick reports on why.
It said there would be a shooting at the school later this week. I'm John Herrick. That didn't happen, but police say the student who sent the threat was a former Mount Vernon student who now lives in Arizona. That teenager was arrested and taken to a juvenile detention center in Phoenix. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
Muncie schools are paying big time for substitute teachers. If you have experience, the district says that they will pay you $210 a day, twice what they usually pay. They say they're upping the ante because they are short on subs for teachers who are out sick or taking time off. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's Fall Flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
The Republican Party in Indiana sees zero problem in record spending, in record taxation.
And Casey Daniels.
You went out there and said, please vote for me. You debated other people on why you're the better person for the position. Suck it up.
This is the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, September 8th, and a few things that are trending this hour. We're seeing things that aren't actually there. Both stories. There was a cloud formation that formed over Mount Rainier, and it caused a stir on social media. People thought that the mountain had erupted, the volcano had erupted. It had not. It was just a cloud that looked like smoke. Also, researchers spotted an image resembling a 50-foot megalodon shark. Turns out it was just a large school of fish. It was not the megalodon. And finally, trending this hour, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, your favorites, they're traveling to see the Queen after the doctors have said that they are concerned about the Queen's health.
Oh, okay, so obviously she's 8,332 years old, so anything can happen when you're that age at any time. But we just saw a photo of her, what was it, 2 days ago?
Where she was swearing in the new prime minister?
Right, and while she doesn't exactly look like the epitome of great health, again, she's 7,282 years old, she looked pretty good. She's standing upright, she's on her own, she's shaking hands, and again, at that age, anything can happen at any time, but it is a fairly rapid, if indeed it is, the end is near sort of dealio that some outlets are reporting or insinuating.
They are kind of alluding to that, aren't they?
I mean, the idea that people are dropping what they're doing and going to visit her is...
I think that's an indication.
Right. But again, look at that. We're looking at these pictures right now over our shoulder. She just looks like a healthy 90-whatever-year-old woman. I mean, how good are you going to look at 96 or whatever she is?
Well, you also don't know how long that meeting was that she had with the prime minister. That could have been 60 seconds. They got a picture and she was back in bed.
Well, sure, it could have, but she's fully dressed. She's standing up. She's shaking hands. I mean, and I know you've experienced this too, when elderly people are at end-of-life type care, you can't do that.
What, stand up and shake someone's hand?
Yeah, just smile for she looks reasonably well put together. I mean, I'm not disputing that obviously her death could be imminent, or this could be just a total overreaction. You don't know. The point is that would be a pretty rapid dissension based on those photographs that were just released.
Mm-hmm. But it could be. We'll see. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It's 8 minutes after 11.
Can we real quick before I do that, because I want to do this every single time, because earlier we were not very favorable to the you were. You love the monarchy. You eat this stuff up. You think of you were probably one of those people that wanted to be Diana and watched the wedding and pictured.
I didn't want to be her, but I did buy into the fairy tale. Yeah, absolutely.
Every little girl that wanted to be that, and so you have for some reason allowed your mind to erase the fact that we kicked their ass 240 years ago because the Brits are horrific and awful, and the whole idea of a queen or a king is stupid. And we pointed out how ridiculous it is to call some living human being his or her majesty. But it does not replace the fact that it is a phenomenally impressive thing that she has done, the reign that she has had. I mean, literally my parents' entire life, she has been the Queen of England. Correct. And so I always like to try to
70 years.
Try to name them.
Oh, all the presidents that she's been through?
All the presidents. Let's see if we can do it. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Since 1952.
Yep. Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden.
Nice.
Did I miss someone? I don't think I missed anybody in there.
I think you got them all.
So that's 14?
Yeah.
That's astounding.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the ones that are dead. Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson. Well, all of them are dead except for Trump, Obama, and Clinton and Bush. So 10 of them are dead. Oh, and Biden. Well,
did you say Carter?
Oh, Carter's still alive too, isn't he? But barely. Okay, so 6 of them are alive, right? So Carter's still alive.
Yeah.
Clinton's still alive.
Obama.
Young Bush is still alive. Obama, Trump, Biden, kinda 5.5. So 5.5 of them are still alive.
It's quite a tenure that she's had.
She's outlived 9 U.S. presidents during her reign.
Right. Yeah. Imagine the stories she could tell.
It's an unbelievable accomplishment.
I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about her life and her accomplishments, which you don't think are many.
I don't think when you get your entire life handed to you based on what your last name was in your bloodline, think about even the fact that she became queen because
she wasn't supposed to be queen.
Right. Had her uncle, because her uncle left the throne to be with another woman, right?
Right, when he abdicated for Wallace Simpson.
Right. So her dad became
king.
And as a result, that put her then in the bloodline, which is also why this is so stupid. It's right up there with the thing with the Pope, where a group of people, old men, arbitrarily get in a room and then go, well, we like this guy better than everyone else, so have the direct line to God. That's not how it works. And in this case, it's ridiculous that she gets all this bestowed on her because one guy quits, and then her dad, who wasn't supposed to be the king, gets to be king, and now she's queen, and now she's her majesty. The whole her majesty thing, I don't want to do it again. It just enrages me that people give that sort of deference to another human being.
Well, it gets worse for you because they will be calling Charles his majesty when he becomes king.
Yeah, that's...
You're going to have a real problem with that.
Whenever she goes, because she actually seems like a pretty decent person. He, on the other hand,
likes to talk to plants.
A total buffoon. And that's going to be nauseating.
Isn't it interesting, though, what time will do? Kind of heals wounds. He was reviled for a long time after him and Diana broke up.
But that's politics, right? Prince Charles has taken far left, lunatic, radical stances on things like the environment, and that has curried him favor with the political left who now embrace him, when you're absolutely right, when the whole thing with the separation with Diana, the divorce with Diana was going on.
Well, and people with Kamala.
She hooked up with Charles too?
Camilla. People did not like her and accused her of being the reason that they split. But now she's beloved.
The whole thing is stupid. That's something that happened hundreds of years ago because some guy conquered some other guy, that you are some infallible person. I mean, the whole thing is just, I don't get it. I don't get why people kiss these people's asses. I don't get why they act like they're above everybody else. They're just people in a bloodline, and they have immense wealth and opportunity based on that.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. In a turn of events that should surprise no one, it appears that Biden lied about the raid at Trump's house. And there's been some other bombshells, right, that have been released because the special master revealed that Biden was involved in it.
Yeah, so the judge who is appointing has said that there will be a special master appointed, and the Federalist had a great breakdown of this, of 7 things that were learned. Excuse me. But the main thing that came out of this is, as it relates to the National Archives and Records Administration, it is basically irrefutable in the order, and how Biden ties into that order. It's a long, involved thing, and I don't want to put people to sleep with it. But basically, what came out of this is that the judge in the order on Monday said, quote, there was a letter that went out that said that NARA, the Records Administration, will provide the FBI access to the records in question as requested by the incumbent president, beginning as early as Thursday, May 12, 2022. But it's no different than his business dealings with this loser kid.
Right.
Everybody knows what the answer to that is.
He's involved.
It doesn't matter what's in black and white. It doesn't matter that he pathologically lies to the country. Hell, he's doing it right now about saying, I think Trump supporters are fine. It's the same thing over and over and over again, and he'll never be held accountable. It's in black and white. It's right there. He absolutely 100% knew.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And when we come back, we're going to talk about these emails. A judge is asking that emails from Karine Jean-Pierre and Dr. Fauci be turned over. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
When traffic's a bear, Matt Bear is a beast.
And now we have a crash southbound 69 and 96th Street. Traffic absolutely soul-crushing.
When you need to get from here,
crashes on the east side, south side,
to there.
North side, crashes everywhere. An absolute car apocalypse today in the Circle City.
Matt Bear.
Delays, and when I say delays, I mean stop traffic continues to build.
Mornings and afternoons.
So you're going to want to change your reroute. In fact, I'll tell you right
93
now.
WIBC.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 3.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 317-706-GOLD to lock in your 3.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 3.75% fixed, 4.88% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
This Sunday, when the Colts play Houston, get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code WIBC to get in on that action. You could turn game day into payday all season long. If I had $150 in free bets, I'd be betting the Colts. I'd be doing all these same-game parlays. I'd probably make a big bet on Jonathan Taylor to win the rushing title. Play your way and bet on more than just the final score. Wager on everything from touchdowns to total yards to catches, and you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code WIBC. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the Indianapolis Colts. 21 plus and present in Indiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbooks.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
He's a mean guy.
And Casey Daniels.
She's the nicest person I've ever met.
93 WIBC.
A judge has sided with Republican officials in ordering the White House to turn over messages discussing misinformation and content censorship with social media companies. So this is a U.S. District Judge, Terry Daughtry, gave the Biden administration 21 days to hand over emails that were sent from Karine Jean-Pierre and also Dr. Fauci. They accused the Biden administration of politically weaponizing social media platforms to censor stories about Hunter Biden's laptop, also mail-in voting, also COVID-19 information. So it sounds like what Zuckerberg was saying on the Joe Rogan show is all true.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it at the time where he went on and talked about how the federal government, the FBI, basically pressured him to throttle down the ability to share the Hunter Biden laptop story. And obviously, it appears obvious anyway that they also pressured places like Twitter based on the fact that Twitter didn't allow the sharing of the story. And there's a whole bevy of areas where, it's pretty obvious the federal government was in cahoots with these social media companies to decide, especially as it related to information that could be displayed. And, Psaki, we played the clip last week, Psaki admitted that they were in communication with them. And so Karine Jean-Pierre got asked about what are those emails going to show. Her answer, no comments.
So a federal judge talked about the social media lawsuits from Missouri and Louisiana. A federal judge ordered that you have 20 days to turn over emails communicating with social media companies over misinformation and disinformation. What are those emails going to show? What kind of communication?
So I can't comment. You've asked me this question last week. I can't comment on any specifically ongoing litigation. And so again, we would refer you to Department of Justice. A couple of things that I would say on just as a general matter on this. As we've said over and over again since the beginning of the administration in our battle against COVID-19, it has been critical for the American people to have access to factual, accurate, science-based information and ensuring that any media platforms have access to latest information on a once-in-a-generation pandemic is something that has been done since the earliest days of the pandemic.
You know what's interesting there is normally when they say no comment, I'm not going to comment on an ongoing investigation. She called it litigation, which means that there is legal action happening.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, the narrative out of this, though, should absolutely be that the federal government worked with, pressured, conspired with, whatever word you want to use, major social media platforms to prevent you from being able to see, share, and comment on information that oftentimes was proven, in the case of the Hunter Biden laptop, completely to be true, or to shape a narrative and drive out opposition to things such as COVID-19 vaccines.
How long do you think it'll be before she'll be removed as the lead White House press secretary.
Well, so this is the box Biden's in, and these are their words, not mine. She was picked because she's black, she's a woman, and she's gay. She checks a lot of Democrat boxes, which the Democrat Party are the party of box checkers. They are the party of division. They are the party of putting people in corners. They are the party of being able to say, you meet these requirements for us. They're not putting her there based on talent. Now, you could absolutely 100% have a woman who is black and gay be a phenomenal press secretary. But it's no different than the judge when he picked a Supreme Court justice. When you tell somebody, or in the case of picking Kamala Harris, when you pick someone and you tell everyone, I'm doing this because you're these things, you dilute the meaning of whatever that position is, which is a huge honor. In the case of Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was picked as Supreme Court justice, she may very well have been, even if you don't like her political leanings or whatever, qualified to be a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
But you take all that out of the equation when you say, I am picking you because of these things.
Yeah. All right. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC, and Chuck Schumer has announced a same-sex marriage vote. So this is a bill that passed in the House, right? So now he's taking it to the Senate, and there are about 10 Republicans short needed to pass the bill. He says they're optimistic that some of the amendments that are being drawn up will garner more support for this.
The government has no business in marriage whatsoever. It is a gay, straight, whatever. It is a private contract between two people, and whatever religious observance they want to associate with that based on their faith is totally up to them. The idea that you would vote on there should be gay marriage, there should be straight marriage. The government has no business in marriage, period. But what this is a great example of how the government can't solve any real problems. So they can't solve inflation, or they won't. Not that they can't, they won't. They won't solve gas prices. They won't solve the border. Fill in your favorite issue plaguing America. And it's the fault of the government, Democrats and Republicans alike. And so as such, they're out finding a wedge issue which does not exist, because no one right now is out there going, boy, we've in any sort of position of prominence saying we must overturn gay marriage. We must this. Clarence Thomas made the statement we should review it in terms of, does the Supreme Court have the ability to say arbitrarily every single person should be allowed to marry whoever they want? But he didn't say they shouldn't be allowed to marry. He's saying, should the Supreme Court have made a rule that there is a constitutional right to this? It doesn't matter what Clarence Thomas says, because none of the other justices have, in fact, Alito went out of his way during the Roe versus Wade ruling.
We're not going there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is an example of a wedge issue in which apathetic, generally stupid people who don't pay attention have been convinced, oh, the court's coming for my marriage. Oh, the Republicans, they're coming for my gay marriage. And nobody exploits people like members of the United States Congress. And as such, they want to have a vote on this.
Chuck Schumer saying it's a problem. So this must be a problem. We've got to do something about this. Well, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin specifically cited religious freedom concerns when he talked about his reservations for the bill. But they are trying to make amendments to it to make everybody happy.
Look, here's the deal.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave everyone alone. The government has the idea, Casey, that you or me had to go to the government to ask permission from the crown and pay money to the crown in order to marry someone. What did I get out of that? What service did the government provide me by me having to fill out that paperwork? What was I afforded? What benefit was I given? Nothing. It's a money grab and a money-making opportunity, and that's all it is. And the government has no business on who people leave their stuff to, who visits you in the hospital, who you're married to, who you spend your life with. The government shouldn't be passing laws that say gay marriage is okay. They shouldn't be passing laws that say straight marriage is okay. What people do in their own private individual contracts and what religious affiliation or organization they choose to incorporate in that is 100% up to them.
Do you think a marriage license should be the sort of thing that you have to re-up?
No, I don't think there should be a license for any of it. Look, Fred and Jane. Fred wants to be with Jane. Fred wants to leave his stuff to Jane. Fred wants to live a life with Jane. Great. Now let's make it Fred and Joe. Fred wants to live with Joe. Fred wants to have a life with Joe. Fred wants to leave his stuff to Joe. Why is that any of my business? Yeah. And regardless of what my opinion on, or any person's opinion is, on gay people being married or homosexuality or whatever, your religious viewpoint of it, you can incorporate that into your own marriage.
Without getting the government involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And coming up next, we're going to have Abdul and things shaping up to be a wild campaign season. So we're going to get his take coming up from 93 WIBC.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, zero interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. Zero down, zero interest. A $6,000 diamond ring is just $100 a month. Don't miss this extraordinary offer going on now. 5 years, zero interest financing on anything and everything at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives, that's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
So are you ready to feel the excitement of opening night? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving new customers a can't-miss offer to celebrate the start of a new season. Bet just $5 on Thursday's game and get $200 in free bets instantly. And as an added bonus for Thursday, everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. It's simple. Bet on Buffalo or LA to win. If your team leads by 7 at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code WIBC to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on Thursday Night Football. That's code WIBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Indiana only. Bonus issued as free bets. One early win token issued at opt-in. Moneyline bets only. Deposit and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Smart homeowners know that proper maintenance of their home's AC can save a bundle in the long run. Trust our comfort specialists at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to keep your AC running strong. A proactive tune-up can actually help your AC run more efficiently and save you money on your electric bill. Call 855-1-HOUR or visit onehourair.com. We won't leave you waiting. Sing it with me.
Always on time or you don't pay a dime. Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Plan your fall stay in the Brown County woods with Hills of Brown Vacation Rentals. The stunning fall colors, beautiful views, and crisp fall air. Do some shopping in Nashville. Enjoy a hike or drive on the Brown County back roads. Then cozy up in a cabin rental through Hills of Brown Vacation Rentals. Cabins of all sizes, seclusion in the woods, or stay in Nashville near all the quaint shops. Many cabins with hot tubs and game rooms. Cabins are booking quickly at browncountylogcabins.com. browncountylogcabins.com.
This is Ryan Newman for Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives. I love my family, and I appreciate every moment we spend together. We've talked about some pretty tough stuff over the years, and one thing they know for sure is that I've signed up to be an organ donor. So the next time you're with your family, take a moment and let them know you love them, and be sure they know your decision to be an organ donor. You can learn more at donatelifeindiana.org.
Sundown Gardens has fresh fall annuals, including mums arriving weekly. Save the date for the fall open house, September 17th, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Family drawing near. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30.
Queen Elizabeth II's health is of great concern to her doctors right now. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
As members of the royal family travel to Scotland to be near the Queen at Balmoral Castle, others are sending well wishes to the monarch.
We send our best wishes to Her Majesty the Queen, and that she and the royal family are in our thoughts and prayers at this moment.
A palace spokesperson says the Queen, who is 96, is comfortable at Balmoral. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Russian President Vladimir Putin will be meeting next week with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Russian state media is saying that the two leaders will be meeting in Uzbekistan during a meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The Russian ambassador to China saying that Putin and Xi are expected to meet on the sidelines of the summit. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and he's an author, he's a broadcaster, he's a provocateur. The one and only Abdullah Shabazz. How are you, my friend?
Not wearing a suit today.
That's right. You must not be winning in the court of law this afternoon.
Well, actually, my hearing got dismissed. It was up in Delaware County this afternoon.
Do you get paid even if a hearing gets dismissed?
No, you get paid when you show up.
Oh, so
unless I get there and I didn't find out the case was dismissed.
Ah, yes.
Then they'll pay like half of what you were entitled to.
So what he's telling you, Rob, is he's not getting paid today.
That's right. Well, he gets paid enough.
Next week, yeah, sure.
Okay, so we are basically 30 days outside of early voting starting in the state of Indiana. And the two big ticket races this year are Secretary of State and United States Senate. Let's start with Secretary of State. You reported in your very fabulous, award-winning, everyone should subscribe cheat sheet, which you can find over at indypolitics.org, that there could be some issues with Diego Morales. What's going on?
What I can say right now, because I'm still trying to get to the bottom of everything, is I've been hearing some stories about Diego for a while about some very serious and somewhat disturbing allegations. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. But I kept hearing it more and more because you hear one person tell you something like, okay, fine, that's just one individual. But when you start hearing it more and more and more from different people who don't know each other, it's like, okay, there's something running around here that's not very kosher. So in the process of trying to figure out who the people are involved and what's going on, because if it's what I think it is, it has the potential to totally change the dynamics of the Secretary of State's race, and maybe a couple other races as well.
You're going to be doing some polling coming up, and the Secretary of State's race is going to be included in that?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing statewide. We're doing statewide and Marion County. We're doing the U.S. Senate race and the Secretary of State's race. We're also pulling the Marion County prosecutors race as well to see just sort of where folks are. We got the questions all figured out. I signed up on them yesterday. And then we're going to start polling around the last week of September to have the results ready when early voting begins that first week of October.
What do you do? Do you like GoFundMe, help Abdul run a poll? How does that work? Because you don't have that sort of money just laying around. Maybe you do. I don't know.
It's proprietary.
Oh, I see.
So how do you trust the pollsters? How do you know you're going to get real good answers?
You do a couple different things. Number one, you look at the results they've gotten in the past, because past is sort of prologue. Mm-hmm. And if they're way off the track or within the margin of error, they're probably a pretty good pollster to work with. I work with a company called ARW Strategies. They polled for me last year. They did some really good things and also very reasonably priced. So that's a big.
He's got a coupon.
Is that a thing? Like they're different price? Like actually, you shop pricing with the pollsters?
Actually, you do, because polls are based on how long the survey takes, whether you're doing online or telephone, how many questions are you going to ask, how big is your sample size going to be. There are lots of different factors involved, and they can run anywhere from like $8 to $9 grand to like $25-30 grand.
So you and you've been honest about this before. You get people that help you pay for this poll who are interested in the information in the poll. So it's like maybe the poll. I'm just making numbers up here. Let's say it costs $10 grand. You go to Fred Inc. and say, Fred, we'll give you 2 questions in this poll if you'll kick in X amount, because you've got probably 5 to 10 questions that you want to ask, and then everything else is just gravy.
Yeah. And so usually I'll go to my donor class, like, hey guys, we're going to do a poll again. We appreciate your support. You helped us out in the past. And usually they're really good about hey, dude, can you ask a question about XYZ? Sure. No problem. I'll give you the crosstabs and everying.
Okay.
What's the margin of error that you like to stay within? I know most polls are like 3 to 4%.
I try to stay within 4%, depending on like the 600 sample size. If we're in 4%, we're good. Marion County, that'll be a little bit higher because we're only doing 300 people in Marion County, so that'll be probably about maybe like 5%. But we feel really good about the poll's accuracy.
Abdul is here, 93 WIBC. It's Kendall and Casey show. Okay, so let's get back to Diego Morales. If indeed whatever you're researching, uncovering, whatever proves to be bad, is the Republican Party, the rich people you hang out with, the donors, the lobbyists, etc., are they prepared to drop him? Will they let his politically, will they let him die on the vine? Or will they say, well, we can't lose the office. Let's save this dude, and then we can, get him out, and then Holcomb can pick the replacement. What's going to happen?
If the allegations are true, then I don't see them staying with Diego Morales. I really don't. It would be one thing if this was just the only thing that was out there.
Yeah.
But you had getting fired from the job, then almost getting fired from the job the second time around, the $43,000 car, vehicle thing, the thing about he wanted to reduce early voting to 2 weeks as opposed to 30 days. All that stuff is out there, and so this is potentially another shoe that's going to drop. At what point do people say that's it? We've had enough. We'll lose this office for 4 years, and we'll come back and get it back in 4 years.
It's Kendall Casey show. Abdul is here. There's another big race on the ballot. Of course, it is United States Senate. Tom McDermott put that poll out last week that we talked at length about, in which he tried to make the case he was within 3% of Todd Young. Didn't even put James Siniak, the Libertarian, in the poll. You've had a week to digest that. There's no way Tom McDermott is within 3 points of Todd Young, right? And I mean, that pains me because you know how much I dislike Todd Young, but there's no way that's true.
But one thing, the thing to keep in mind is polls are not predictions; they're merely snapshots in time. Now, you get enough snapshots, you can do trends. But I would say for that poll and that audience, and knowing the folks at Change Research, they were accurate. Now, please note, Change Research does all their polling online, which is why they're a lot more affordable because they don't have to hire call centers and people calling landlines and asking questions. However, with that said, as you both know very well, what do people like to do on the internet? They like to bitch and complain all the time.
That's us. That's what we do.
So you got to keep that in mind because it's not like happy people like, oh, I like Todd Young, I like Tom McDermott. So no, they're kind of angry and sort of ticked off. So you got to keep that in mind when you look at the data.
Now you've got a new poll. You said you're going to be putting that in the field. What are your vetting questions, or rather, your demographic? Are you picking a specific demographic that you want to hear from?
We basically try to follow the demographics of Indiana.
Okay.
Where there's age, race, geography. I mean, most people in Indiana live in central Indiana, in the Indianapolis area. So that's where most of the folks will come from. That's just where the population is. But whereas Marion County is heavily Democratic, you got Hamilton County that's heavily Republican. So we try to match the demographics of the entire state.
So what you're saying is, let's say, and I'm just making up numbers here. Let's say 20% of the population were black men between the ages of 35 and 64. I'm just totally making something up. Your poll, you would want that to reflect.
Right.
You wouldn't want that to be 30% of your poll be black men between 35 and 64.
Right. And that's why the first few questions you always ask in any poll, you ask demographic questions. Like, first of all, are you going to vote? Because if you're not going to vote, then okay,
you don't
goodbye.
care.
You wouldn't care. Click goodbye. Then we ask, where do you live? How old are you? What's your education? And so that way you can sort of build up your demographic base. And then that way you can sort of, because you always poll more people than the poll requires, but some people don't give complete answers. That way you can sort of extrapolate. It's a formula that I barely understand, but you can extrapolate that data from there. So
before we let you go, you had mentioned that the Marion County prosecutor's race, which I maintain if the Republicans can't be close in that race, they might as well just hang it up as a Marion County Republican Party. You mentioned Ryan Mears supposedly did his own polling, and there's some results out on that.
What I was told is that his poll that he put out, the numbers were pretty similar to the poll my pollster did back in July, which was like 46, 30, 26 undecided. So still...
How is that possible that many people are willing to vote for this guy? How could anybody do any worse?
Because, number one, you got to remember when we polled the question last year, who do you blame for the increase in crime? Do you blame the mayor, the prosecutor, the courts, the criminals? Most people blame the criminals and society as a whole. They did not blame the prosecutor or the mayor, which is an interesting dichotomy because whereas last year, 65% of the people thought the city was unsafe. This year, it's 77%. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out this sort of dichotomy. Like, okay, what is it about crime that you're not connecting with elected officials? Now, granted, ultimately the criminal is responsible because the criminal committed the offense. But as far as the elected officials go, no one is really holding the elected officials accountable.
What is coming up this Saturday on the award-winning Abdul at Large?
We'll be talking to Cindy Carrasco. We interviewed her yesterday. I got my political panel coming in, my Republican, Libertarian, and Democrat. And I got a special guest at the end of the program, Mr. Robert Kendall.
Oh, yeah, scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Because if you don't get enough of us on State House happenings or during the day, you get a full half hour of us on Saturday.
Casey, that's
a little bit more.
That's what happens when the equipment around here doesn't work. Rob, I need 18 minutes. Let's go.
They know you're up for it.
I need 18 minutes and a flash drive.
He is a national treasure, the one and only Abdul at Large. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
93 WIBC, it's Kendall and Casey Show.
Guys, if you need an annual health exam, check out the Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They'll check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider. And they give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center, specializing in men's health. Go to lowtcenter.com right now. Book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet and security for just $60 a month when you add mobile and save $480 your first year. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Limited time offer, restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Must add mobile within 90 days of internet install and keep all services for 12 months to receive discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 2H 2021. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Hey, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith. At Life Church, we are a freedom-loving community dedicated to promoting freedom by boldly and courageously speaking truth. If you're looking for a church home and want to experience freedom, come check out one of our Central Indiana Life Church locations. Our new Pendleton campus grand opening is September 18th, and our Noblesville campus is expanding to 3 Sunday services starting September 25th. For all the details on how to get connected to a Life Church near you, visit our website at lifechurchin.com.
BC Bank, leading the way to your financial wellness. No matter where your financial journey begins, Pathways banking options at Busey are designed with your goals in mind. Busey Bank, building strong financial futures, one family, one street, one city at a time. Busey, your partner in building business and growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
The Wall Street Journal reports home sales across the country are slowing down on average 20% from this time last year. There's only one agent I would trust with selling my home during a market slowdown, and that is Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried you missed the boat on selling for maximum price. Listen to what Eric and Cindy in Indianapolis had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We had an investment property we wanted to sell for top dollar. We knew we needed the best in a softening market, so we hired Mark Dietel. Like magic, he sold the home in days for $15,000 over asking. Call the agent I recommend and trust. Mark Dietel guarantees multiple offers in 3 days for full market value, or it's listed for free. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. Or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
The bidding wars are ending, and it's officially a buyer's market. At thehomeloanexpert.com, we have unique loan programs for almost everyone, including those with less than perfect credit, self-employed borrowers, FHA, VA, loans with no down payment, and jumbos up to $6 million. Best part, we have lower interest rates, customer service that no one can match, and a 10-day closing guarantee. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com. NMLS number 1326241.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Join Terry Stacy for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware and Garden from 9 to 1. She'll be at 71st and North Keystone to celebrate Mom Madness with Sullivan Hardware and Garden and 93 WIBC. And follow WIBC on your favorite social media platforms and stay up to date on breaking news, traffic updates, and weather. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for plenty of advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and foundation. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Good morning. It's 11:48 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. You had a question?
Yes. Did you know they are making a new version of Pinocchio?
Yeah, I saw that.
So you have seen like the previews for it.
Pinocchio's a real boy.
Tom Hanks is Geppetto.
Mm-hmm.
So
who plays Jiminy Cricket? He was always a favorite of mine.
Gordon Joseph Levitt, or is that his name?
Yeah,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yes, the guy, Third Rock from the Sun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've now seen some of the previews. I have read this review from the Telegraph.
Mm-hmm. And what's the review say?
Because sometimes you'll see, I always think the preview for a movie is like looking at a sandwich in a commercial. If you can't even make the sandwich look good in a commercial, there's no way
the real thing.
Yeah. And if you can't make a movie even look remotely interesting in a 30-second preview, there's no way
you're going to go see the whole movie.
So
you know the story.
Yeah.
Already. So it's not like, ooh, what's that story about?
Well, and apparently this movie is pretty close to the original 1940 cartoon.
I would assume so if it's called Pinocchio.
Well, but, oftentimes they'll put their, stupid twists on it, or, we must have, 83 different women to be, gender neutral or whatever,
when they give old classics an update.
Sure, right.
Yeah, okay.
But apparently the Telegraph did a review of the Pinocchio movie, and it's every bit as bad as I thought it would be in the preview. And I guess it's one of these things where the characters, the Jiminy Cricket, the Pinocchio, are like, not animated is not right.
Live action?
Yeah, whatever they call that, where it's
computer generated.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, and I guess it's just horrific according to the Telegraph. So my question to you, Casey, is there any amount of money I could pay you to go sit through this entire what is about to be an absolute abomination on one of the great cartoons of all time?
Yeah, you got to buy the ticket and pay me my normal rate card, hourly rate card.
You would do it for that little?
Yeah. Thanks. Nice.
Why do they do that? Why do they do this, Casey? Why do they keep just
rehashing,
destroying? I mean, they're so void of ideas. I know.
Let's redo Pinocchio.
We haven't done Pinocchio in a while.
Yeah,
let's get Tom Hanks. He had such a good job with the bad accent when he played Colonel Parker.
Well, I think he's trying to reintroduce it to a new generation, a new group of kids, and the technology's gotten better, so the animation should be able to get better as well.
Well, it should. The key word is it should. It should be getting better.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to get that out there.
So what you're telling me is you're not going to go see that movie.
I am telling you, I have been to a theater exactly one time in 7 years, and that was to go see the Elvis movie. And I'm thinking it will be another 7 years
before it happens
before
again.
I'm back.
Are you going? Well, you know what? It started last night. You could stream the Breitbart, My Son Hunter.
Oh,
it was last night. You didn't download that. You're not going to stream that. That's a movie you can watch at home.
Well, so no. Here's where I'm at with my viewing.
Yeah.
So I told you that FX was a phenomenal network for about 15 years. It had, well, not quite that long. About 15 years. FX, which is a spinoff of Fox, had 3 shows, one right after another, that were all amazing. The Shield, Sons of Anarchy, and then The Americans. So I said, over the next couple of months, I'm going to work my way through 15 years of viewing.
Okay.
Finish The Shield, finished Sons of Anarchy again, and now I've moved on to The Americans, so that will occupy my viewing habits. By the way, if you ever seen The Americans?
No.
It's great.
I haven't seen any of those shows that you mentioned.
Matthew Rise and Kerry Russell play Russian spies during the Reagan administration. It's based loosely on actual events in which, Russia and America both tried to do this. They would implant spies in this country. They would, in the case of the Russians, they would teach them how to, speak English without a Russian accent. They would give them background stories, and then they would serve in this country as spies for the Soviet Union. And so Matthew Rise and Kerry Russell play these Russian spies through, and the series over several seasons takes place throughout the Reagan administration. It's a phenomenal series.
Well, that sounds like something that I might be interested in.
Yeah, you would. I only watch.
You told me to watch the Sons of Anarchy too.
Sons of Anarchy's great. The Shield is great. So no, I have to get through whatever that was, 5 or 6 seasons of The Americans
before you can move on to My Son Hunter.
Yes, and then I'll get to it.
I'll be really curious to see what the download numbers are for that.
I can't watch multiple things at one time. I get too distracted. I got to get into one thing
and go with it.
Yeah,
that's the way I am with reading a book. I got to start, and I can't stop until the book is done. Can read a 300-page book in like 48 hours.
Yeah, so you don't want to have multiple books going at the same time.
No, I can't do that. But then I lose sleep because I got to get to the end of the book. It's a little ADD.
That's the problem with. I was thinking about this while I was going through Sons of Anarchy, and I was thinking the same thing with The Shield. It used to be that was appointment viewing, and that was before a lot of the on-demand streaming stuff, certainly with The Shield and then also Sons of Anarchy, where you had to wait a week, show's over. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. And then you have a whole year in between when the season would end and the new one would begin. And now it's like you can just speed through it, and I feel like I don't appreciate it as much because I can get right through it from one episode to the next.
Right. It's not Christmas morning.
No.
For you. It's just, here we go again.
No.
Now it's almost a task. Get through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get through it.
The Americans, watch it.
Hey, before we leave, I'd like to play this one little bit of audio from Joe Biden. He's doing the creepy whisper, this was at the Obama's portrait unveiling, and he's giving Michelle all sorts of credit.
We elected you twice. That's why you'll be considered one of the most consequential presidents in our history, along with one of the most consequential first ladies. Michelle, he knows, we all know, he couldn't have done it without you.
So creepy.
She knows.
So creepy.
Michelle Obama knows that Barack couldn't have done it without her. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thanks for being here, and we'll count on you to be back tomorrow.
Making your money go further is more important than ever. So Diamonds Direct's bringing back our most popular offer of the year. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase. Now for a limited time, you get the amazing value Diamonds Direct is known for, and you can spread your payments over 5 years. 0 down, 0